Hi, everyone. Josh Rugger here in studio with your morning live weather update. We're about to get the latest risk from the Storm Prediction Center within the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. We're also probably going to have a tornado watch issued within the next hour or so as well. So we've got a lot of things going on in the weather world. I'm going to go ahead and remove this banner since our live update has started. But hope everybody is having a wonderful start to your Wednesday. Obviously, I know the severe weather fatigue is real right now. Trust me, we feel the same exact way here in the weather lab. And once this severe weather event ends, we are going to get a nice little stretch of calm weather here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But we're going to talk all about that latest risk. We're going to talk about the timing and everything that you need to know so that you're prepared for all that severe weather potential coming up later on this afternoon to the evening. And Jackie said it best right here. That music is pretty cool during this music countdown. You know what, Jackie? Every single time we play our music, I'm always just like behind the scenes, just jamming a little bit. I know Dan does the same thing as well. He's like doing his, he's got his like fingers clicking and everything and stuff like that. Like they're just rocking on here. So I'm really excited we got that cool music and stuff like that as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of those graphics here, and we'll answer as many questions as possible as well. I'll be here watching things very closely and answering as many questions as you guys need answered. So this is the latest day one convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. Again, this is going to be updated within the next 6 minutes or so, and we're going to see if they expand that severe weather risk. But right now, I think an enhanced risk is what we're going to have. So, Jacob, if you're watching right now, wondering if they're going to expand the moderate risk, I don't think that will happen for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, but we'll keep an eye on it. But here is the latest risk. You can see a level 3 out of 5 enhanced risk for this afternoon into the evening. Main time frame between 2 to 10 o'clock p.m., but I will say I lean more towards the latter half of that. We still could have a few thunderstorms before 2 o'clock. There's already some storms expanding off to our north and west. But really, the main severe weather risk is going to be between 5 to 10 o'clock p.m. And notice our main hazards are going to be very large hail, damaging winds, and a low wind tornado threat. Folks, Dan and I were talking about this before I started this live stream. The gorilla hail potential is real today in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. What I mean by gorilla hail, I mean hailstones that are over 2 inches in diameter. And so let's take a look at all those individual risks right now, because I want to show you just how significant this severe weather risk could be here in Northwest Arkansas. This is the damaging wind potential. So you can see that we've got this hashed area for damaging wind gust over 75 miles per hour. The main risk is in that moderate area just off to our north and east. But Northwest Arkansas also has that high-end threat as well. So as these storms start to quickly form into a line as they progress off to the south and east, or in a semi-discrete mode, which I certainly think is a possibility, a broken line of showers and storms, you're going to start seeing more of a damaging wind risk in far eastern portions of our weather coverage area. Northwest Arkansas also included in that, but I do think if there's a favored location for significant wind gusts, it's going to be just east of I-49 along I-40. Now, for the hail risk, I think everybody's got a chance at this, especially if you live a little bit farther west as these storms initially develop. And we're talking hailstones over 2 inches in diameter in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. This is a very potent environment for large hail, folks, especially considering that initially these thunderstorms are going to be a little bit more elevated in nature, which typically favors a large hail risk. We have very steep lapse rates as well. And then we've also got a lot of low-level wind shear, not a lot of low-level wind shear, but very low-level wind shear initially, which favors that larger hail potential. So this is something that we're going to be watching very closely. What I'm most worried about is this hail and these storms developing during rush hour, and everybody's out in the roadways, and then we get big hailstones, and then that could cause damage to vehicles. So this to me is my greatest concern with this particular storm system. We've got a lot of instability to work with, very low-level wind shear initially, and that typically favors giant gorilla hailstones. So if anybody is wondering what gorilla hail is, it basically means hailstones that could be over 2 inches in diameter, which is hen egg size, and I think it could be even larger than that in a lot of locations. Now, here's a look at the tornado potential, and here's the deal, and we say this all the time with tornado threats, right? Don't get too caught up in the colors and the risk area and all those specifics, right? What you need to focus on is the fact that we do have the potential for a couple of tornadoes this afternoon. In fact, look at this. This is in central Arkansas from earlier this morning. we've already had a couple of tornado reports in Garland County and Hot Springs in the quote-unquote low tornado risk area. And a matter of fact, yesterday morning, the most significant tornado risk was located in central Oklahoma, and we ended up having just as many, if not more, tornadoes here in northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. Now, they certainly weren't as significant as the one that went through Bartlesville, but still a very real tornado threat this afternoon. I do think the low-level wind shear is a little bit lacking, but if these storms can stay together, we are talking about a higher-end tornado threat potentially in northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. So I got somebody saying no sound, so just let me know, guys, if you can hear me and everything. I want to make sure. Sometimes we have sound issues, but I think everybody can hear me and stuff like that. So we'll just keep going. But again, I know a lot of people are asking about what time and stuff like that. We had the timing right here, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I still think it's going to be a little bit after that in northwest Arkansas, at least for the main significant severe weather risk. So let's go ahead and look at the latest future track right here. It looks like, all right, we got sound. I can hear you. Everything rocking and rolling there, so we're good to go. By the way, Dan Scoff commenting right here, found another tornado path from early Tuesday morning. This was a tornado that moved nearly straight northeast of Winslow. And that makes sense because Dan and I were talking about this. When I was on I-49, we actually saw the funnel cloud moving across the interstate near the Winslow area. Now, I couldn't see if it had touched down or anything like that at the time because we were going into the police car. But there was a funnel cloud that was going across I-49. That's the same funnel cloud that was responsible, or at least earlier, that was the same tornado that was responsible for the damage in Evansville and southwestern Washington County near the Odell area. So there, it looks like there is another tornado that touched down from that as well near the Winslow area. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at our future track radar here. So let me get that pulled up. Stand by for just a second. Trying to get my graphics organized. I definitely need to probably delete some of these things here because I have so many graphics. Folks, it's been very busy over the last several days, so we've got a lot of things going on here in the Weather Lab. I can't wait to get a reset. So let's take a look at the latest future track here. So some of the models are showing some cells developing off to our north. We're already seeing that going on just off to the west of Joplin. I don't think any of those thunderstorms are going to make their way into northwest Arkansas because the warm front is too far to the north now. But notice those temperatures warming up very quickly. Highs, middle to upper 80s. Dew points already very high. We'll show you those latest dew points in just a few moments. But this latest future track has some supercells developing in southwest Missouri right around 5 to 6 o'clock p.m. I still think that these cells are going to take off very quickly over northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, and maybe even a little bit earlier than this particular timing that the model has. It just makes sense with the forcing that's coming in. But check this out. And I said this morning on the shows too. Look how quickly those thunderstorms form. It's literally like you just snap your fingers and all of a sudden these storms are taking off on radar. It's going to be very quick updraft speeds. We have a lot of instability in place for these thunderstorms to maintain their strength. And that's why we're talking about significant severe weather potential here in northwest Arkansas. Because check this out. We've got this large thunderstorm going on along and south of Interstate 40, big-time hail that's being produced. And look at that, already starting to develop into a broken line of showers and storms that can produce very large hail, destructive winds, and tornadoes. So I think personally that these storms will take off right around 4 to 5 o'clock, just off to our north and west, and then begin to expand in coverage as a cold front moves off to the south and east between 5 to 7 o'clock p.m. So that's when I think storms will start initiating. And then I think it really starts to move into eastern portions of our weather coverage area between 8 to 10 o'clock p.m. before finally moving out during the overnight hours tonight. So this is going to be a quick line of showers and storms, folks. This is not going to be a significant heavy rain threat. I still think there could be isolated flash flooding because we've had so much rain over the last several days. But in terms of severe weather, it's going to be a quick shot, very large hail possible with those initial supercells, and then we transition to more of that damaging wind and more of that embedded tornado threat as those storms move off to the east. So these storms are definitely not going to be weak sauce. That is for sure, Katie. That is for sure. So Abby, I know this model, you look at that and you're like, okay, Northwest Arkansas didn't have a whole lot of storms with this model, but I don't buy this. I think Northwest Arkansas is still going to be under the gun. I think these thunderstorms are going to take off very quickly along that front as that forcing arrives in Northwest Arkansas. And I think we're going to see a lot of locations be impacted by at least some shower and storm activity, if not severe weather. And I always say this with large hail threats too. With large hail threats, typically you don't see giant hail everywhere, right? But it's those one or two locations that see it that get the big impacts, right? So in terms of the significant gorilla hail, very giant hail threat, it's high impact, low coverage when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to thunderstorms in general, I think it could be high impact, high coverage as well, especially with damaging winds and hail that could be less than 2 inches as well, along with that tornado threat. So in terms of rain chances for Northwest Arkansas, I'll go through that because I see a lot of people asking about specific locations. And here's the deal about talking about specific locations. It's just very hard to pinpoint where exactly these storms are going to initiate. And that's why you need to stay weather aware everywhere along the I-49 corridor and everywhere along and south of Interstate 40. And notice how these storm chances really start to increase during rush hour. Right now, we only have a 20% chance of rain just in case these storms that are developing off to the northwest expand in coverage. But the main rain chances come between about 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. till 10 o'clock p.m. And right now, we have a 60% chance of showers and storms because there is a lot of uncertainty in terms of storm coverage and storm timing right now. So a lot of people asking, Northwest Arkansas, River Valley, just be prepared for the potential for severe weather this afternoon. And we're going to get you through this. We're going to help keep you safe. And once this system moves out, we can finally get a much quieter weather pattern as we move throughout the rest of this week. But I want to show you this, folks. This is why the severe weather threat is very real today in every location, because every location is going to have very high instability with this particular storm system. I'm going to show you the latest HRRR computer model here. Look at this instability that's in place, folks. You're talking about CAPE values over 5,000 joules per kilogram in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Typically, you see these darker reds, even purples sometimes. I don't think this particular model goes to purple. But like when I'm looking at some of these maps, you've got instability values that you just don't see in Northwest Arkansas. And my number one rule is with any parameter, right, especially when it comes to instability, for specifically instability, I know I'm getting a little bit nerdy here, but anytime it's over 5,000 joules per kilogram, all bets are off. Anything can happen because when you have high-end instability, it can make up for a lack of low-level wind shear or a lack of steep mid-level lapse rates and all these other ingredients that we look for severe weather potential. So this is why I think we all need to stay weather aware, because all of us have very high instability when it comes to these showers and thunderstorms. So I know a lot of folks, again, asking about specific locations, Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, Northeast Oklahoma, River Valley. Everybody needs to stay weather aware today, just in case severe weather strikes your area. If there is a location that is a little bit more favored for higher and severe weather, I think it is along the I-40 corridor, but Northwest Arkansas is also under the gun as well. So look at all that instability that's just pulling in. I mean, that is as high as it can go. You look at the do you guys see the this on the top here? Man, what do I even call this right here? You can see that we've got very high-end instability. Those colors are very deep red, almost brown, and they're right over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley for a very high instability. So definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on. We're definitely under the gun this afternoon and this evening. You can definitely see that cold front sagging off to the south, and he's still very high instability in the River Valley through about 10 o'clock p.m. before that cold front moves out of Northwest Arkansas. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to watch this very closely. Jacob just mentioned the SPC has a new mesoscale discussion saying that will likely be included in the tornado watch. And Jacob, I can actually pull that up for you right now. I know we could pull this up on WSI, but I'm actually going to pull this up on a separate screen here so you guys can kind of see the explanation. So just stand by for 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and put this into present mode, and we're going to open up a new window here. And we're going to take a look at that outlook there, that mesoscale discussion that you were just talking about, Jacob. So I'm going to move myself out of the way. Whoops. Nope, I don't want that. There we go. We're going to pull that up full screen right here. And we're going to go to the new mesoscale discussion right here. This was issued about 30 minutes ago. And this is concerning severe thunderstorm watch 202. So off to our north and west, there is a severe thunderstorm watch already that's in place for much of central Missouri and far eastern Kansas. But you see that Northwest Arkansas is included in this red outline. And what the National Weather Service is considering is they're considering expanding this watch and also making it a tornado watch over Northwest Arkansas. So this will, if there is a tornado watch that's issued, it will likely be issued within the next 1 to 2 hours. We can go ahead and read the summary. They're talking about additional thunderstorm development gradually developing across that severe thunderstorm watch over the next several hours. And the tornado threat is going to continue to increase. So a tornado watch is likely going to be needed. There's a lot of supercells that are clustering in central Oklahoma right now, as you just saw. Actually, there's a tornado warning that's going on just off to the south and west of St. Louis right now. I'm going to show a megadoppler in just a few moments so we can take a look at that. But they're talking about that very large hail and isolated severe damaging wind gust. And also talking about this, 35 to 45 knot low-level southwesterlies per some of those radar sites with those photographs. That is very favorable for tornadic thunderstorms. So Northwest Arkansas may need to keep an eye on that. Potential for a strong tornado may become maximized near the outflow warm front boundary across southwest to south central Missouri, which that has lifted just a little bit farther to the north and east of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But if it kind of stays around there, you can sometimes get these storms that ride that warm front and produce tornado potential. So long story short, within the next couple of hours, we're anticipating a tornado watch over Northwest Arkansas, if not earlier than that. We're going to have to watch that very closely. And, of course, we'll continue to keep you posted on the latest details there. But Bradley made a good point. Thank the Lord that the shear isn't crazy like the night before last. We only had between 2,000 to 3,000 CAPE, but 5,000 CAPE, that is explosive for thunderstorm development. Bradley, these storms are going to just be taken off like a flash. It's going to be absolutely insane once these storms get going. That is for sure. But, man, if we had the shear that we had from the other night, this would have been a really rough day. And it still could be a rough day here in Northwest Arkansas, so we need to keep a close eye on that. I'm going to pull up some more comments here. Just keep commenting, keep giving me your latest thoughts. I do believe, let me check here, that the latest day one convective outlook may have been issued. I'm looking here just real quick. I don't think it has. So we don't have the latest day one outlook yet, but I'll go ahead and show the one that we've got right now. And then we'll kind of go through some of your questions because you can see the timing, you can see the risk on this. So we'll go back through this in just a minute. But let's go ahead and get through a few comments, and I'll keep an eye on that latest Storm Prediction Center outlook. But let's see here. So what is the timing on these storms? So Alex, again, about 2 to 10 o'clock, but I lean more towards a little bit after 2 o'clock, maybe between 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., the most likely time frame. So we'll watch that very closely. We always like to be a little bit conservative with our timing, meaning we like to have kind of a wider range in terms of that timing, just in case it comes through a little bit earlier or a little bit later than what the models are anticipating. Most of the time I lean towards it being earlier because the models can never initiate things fast enough. So I see a question. I don't see a question. I see a statement here from Matthew. It says, meh, faithful fizzle will happen again. All we get is a few smaller storms. And you know what, Matthew? Yes, sometimes these severe weather events don't pan out. We hope and pray that they don't pan out. But talk to the people who had that happen to them in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, just southwest of there. Talk to the people who had their homes impacted near Odell or in portions of the River Valley or Northwest Arkansas and Springdale a couple years ago. Again, sometimes severe weather events don't pan out, and that's always what we hope for. But people do get impacted by these storms, and it changes lives, and it's definitely something that we never, we can never take it for granted because we always have to keep an eye on these things. That is for sure. I mean, the other night it definitely verified over Northwest Arkansas. That's for sure. And the River Valley. So we'll be keeping an eye on things, but I understand what you're saying. But at the same time, you talk to the people who were impacted by those storms the other night in Oklahoma and Western Arkansas. Let's see here. Dan's spamming the F5 refresh button. Dan, I still don't see it either. So it looks like maybe they're considering expanding the moderate risk somewhere. I still don't think it will be in Northwest Arkansas. If it is, I think it would be for hail, which Jacob mentioned earlier. But I don't think that's going to happen over Northwest Arkansas looking at the latest data. I think they stay within enhanced. So we'll see what happens. Colby effect, please, says Shannon. That's what we're hoping for. We always want the Colby effect to pan out. Unless we haven't had a lot of rain lately, then we don't need the Colby effect to pan out. But thankfully, we haven't had a whole lot of drought to worry about ever since we've got all this rain. Oh, absolutely, Stacy. Thank you so much for the very kind words. We really appreciate that here. And yeah, we've been burning the midnight oil over the last several weeks, over the last month. So it's going to be nice to finally get a break after this severe weather event passes over the area. Let's see here. That tornado in Springdale was on the street behind my house, and we had zero warning, no idea until it was over. And Catherine, that's right. That when the tornado dropped, there was no tornado warning, which is why we're always watching these storms very closely. In fact, the observe tag didn't go on that tornado that went through Evansville until after it was already down for quite a while. So that's why we always just say to stay weather aware and keep a close eye on these showers and storms as they move through the area. Should sports practices be postponed if they start 3:45 to 5:45? Sky, here's the deal. I still think that there is a threat for these storms to develop earlier. Obviously, I would hate to postpone practice and nothing happen between that time period. But, when you have a risk of storms like that, especially in the late afternoon, if your practice goes to 5:45, right, then people might be driving through it as they're trying to get home and everything. So I think that today, if things are starting at 4 to 5 o'clock, I think they should go ahead and be postponed or be, moved to tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to have picture perfect weather. I think it's going to be perfect for sports practices. So if possible, I think I would go ahead and postpone that, just because even if we don't see storms between 4 to 5 o'clock p.m., there might be some folks that are still out and about on the roadways heading home, and then the storms fire up and they get stuck in very large hail. So I think that, around that time frame, 4 to 5 o'clock, that might just be testing fate just a little bit too much. So I think I would postpone that. Bradley, gradient winds today have been crazy as well. Winds are ripping in from the southeast at 15 to 20. Here's the deal, Bradley. What's crazy is all that. It's just like the moisture transport has been insane this morning. I came into work this morning and temperatures were in the upper 50s in Northwest Arkansas. And then from 5 to 6 o'clock a.m., it was 71 degrees in Fayetteville. We had a 12-degree temperature jump. And look at this. Dew points in the upper 60s to lower 70s, all the way from Texas to southern Missouri, folks. This atmosphere is primed and juiced up right now. You typically see an atmosphere like this in the summertime, not in the middle of May. So this is an environment that's going to be very, very potent. Let's take a closer look at those dew points too, specifically in Northwest Arkansas. Look at that, 70 at Bentonville, 70 at Fort Smith, 73 in Grove, 73 in Stigler. The moisture is here, and it's getting warm very quickly. Let's take a look at the temperatures too. I'm interested to see what's going on there. Wow. 79 in Bentonville, 80 in Fayetteville, 81 in Fort Smith. It's getting warm fast, and it's going to keep getting warmer as that warm front lifts off to the north and east. So definitely going to be a very primed atmosphere, definitely going to be under the gun late this afternoon to the evening. Isaac, I pizza deliver 4 to 8 near Centerton. I like storms, but I'm concerned about the hail. Yeah, I'm concerned about the hail too around that time as well, Isaac, especially initially with these storms. If they're going to produce big-time giant hail, it's going to be early on in their life cycle. So 4 to 8 o'clock, just be staying weather aware, Isaac. Be careful out there. Centerton, maybe the storms fire off a little bit farther south and east, but I don't know if I buy that from the models. I don't know if I necessarily buy that from the HRRR. I think the forcing is going to be in place in time for those storms to develop over Northwest Arkansas, in addition to the River Valley. And see, Brandon was just mentioning that. And the models are showing that, but they've also messed up like all of the last several storm systems. They don't develop storms quickly enough. They did that out in Oklahoma the other day, and they're probably going to do it again today. There's just so much energy that maybe it does happen. Maybe they do verify, but I still think Northwest Arkansas is going to be under the gun. So we'll see what happens. And I see more questions about that. And again, it's just so hard to pinpoint where exactly these storms are going to develop. But as that cold front sags off to the south and east, it's going to start intensifying because of how much instability and because of how much low-level wind shear is going to be increasing during the evening in terms of that tornado threat. Let's see if we can find any more questions here as well. Why is the instability so big over by the Oklahoma border, but the models show the storms blowing up away from I-49? So I guess I just answered that. Here's the deal, Kinsey. You can have a ton of instability and nothing fire off. The reason why nothing fires off is because you don't have a forcing mechanism, which is why during the summertime, you'll see a lot of folks maybe on social media say, oh my goodness, 6,000 CAPE in Mississippi, 7,000 CAPE here in Alabama, Arkansas, wherever. But the problem is that during the summertime months, you don't have the upper level wind fields that are favorable for severe weather to not only happen, at least in terms of significant severe weather, in terms of tornadoes, but also for storms to just fire off in general. If the storms fire off, they are purely fueled by the amount of instability and the amount of warmth that we have. That's why they call them pulse thunderstorms, because they'll develop during the daytime hours and then they'll lose their energy. They'll produce big time downbursts, which we've seen have caused big issues here in Northwest Arkansas in the past during summer. And then they won't be a factor anymore after the sun sets. So we do have a very similar kind of setup right now where the instability is very high. But we also have the wind fields in place and the forcing mechanism for widespread shower and storm development. And this is why we are so concerned, because if these storms do start taking off over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley during the late afternoon, during the early evening hours, they are going to pose that all hazards threat because of how much instability is in place. You typically do not see that with setups in the middle of May. And it looks like Dan Scoff is calling me right now, so I'm going to go ahead and take this. What's up, Dan?
I know you're live. Look at the new risk. It's out.
Okay. So we're going to look at the new risk right now. And
big time change in the tornado risk.
Okay. So I'm looking at it right now on WSI. Are we still under enhanced? I think this is not updated yet on WSI. So we're looking right now. Let's go ahead and look at the tornado risk. And there it is. We see it, Dan. And this is what we were just talking about right here. This is now the updated tornado risk from the Storm Prediction Center. And you can see that we're now under that significant threat for strong tornadoes. So what does this mean? This means that the low-level wind shear is going to be cranking up over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley throughout the afternoon and evening. So this is what we were concerned about. And we stayed with an enhanced risk, but now the tornado potential has increased. And this is something that we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on right here. So that's the latest. That's the latest tornado risk. I don't think the damaging wind or hail risk have changed because we're still under an enhanced risk, but there's still the threat for significant damaging wind gusts. There's still the threat for very large hail over 2 inches in diameter. And now there is the potential for strong EF2 plus tornadoes over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And again, this is going to be coming through between 2 to 10 o'clock p.m., but more likely this is going to be coming through right around 5 to 6 o'clock p.m. That's when I think storms are really going to start cranking up over our area. So, yeah, this is a little bit old because I said this morning, low-end tornado threat. Nope. Now, very large hail, destructive winds, and 1 or 2 strong tornadoes possible. So let's take a closer look at each of those specific risks as well. So there's your tornado, large hail, and damaging wind threats. And folks, these are all in the significant range right here. That hashed outline, all of these specific risks could have hazards, that significant hazards with them. So this is something that we were worried about. We were worried about that uptrend, and now we're seeing that with that tornado potential. So this is tough news right here, guys. So we're gonna have to watch this very closely. I know a lot of folks are reacting to that right now. I see Dan's comment just talking about that at 11:49. So this is the latest day one convective outlook. So let me see what people are saying here. There's a haze in Prairie Grove. Looks like it's raining, but it's not. So weird. You know what that is, Kenzie? That's all that moist air that's surging off to the north right now. And we could probably see that over our WeatherBug Network cameras as well. I noticed that this morning. So this is the Bentonville Square camera. That might not be the best one. Let's go to Kessler Mountain. Kessler Mountain, you could really see the haze that was showing up there. And yeah, look at that. There's the haze right there. You were just talking about this, Kenzie. You can see that haze in the distance. That's all that low-level moisture that's starting to increase. And notice how these clouds are also streaming off to the north. They almost appear like they're streaming off to the north. That's all that warm air advection that's going on. So this is that moisture transport that allows your instability to increase and also allows that atmosphere to be primed and ready to go later on this afternoon into the evening. But let's look at the Mount Magazine camera as well. Look at that. You can see the haze. You can barely see the Washita Mountains in the distance over the Mount Magazine camera right now. Typically, that's clear as day, even when there is cloud cover. So definitely a lot of moisture that's streaming in right now. That's those clouds that you're seeing that are very low to the ground. That's that low-level moisture transport off to the north. So, folks, we got to stay weather aware today. With that tornado risk getting bumped up, which makes sense, we have got to be on our A game once again. And, yeah, even Robbie was talking about this. Yeah, I think the haze was a controlled burn, and it almost does look like something's burning. But it's all that moisture that's starting to increase. Very muggy right now. Very, very muggy. That is for sure. So Gillian asking, when will this update again? So, Gillian, we're going to have another weather live stream coming up this afternoon to the evening. You're going to have Dan, Zach, and Peyton all here today. They're going to have all the latest details on what's going on with that severe weather potential. Of course, in terms of the day one outlook, if you're referring to that, the next update's going to be later on this afternoon, right around 2 o'clock. But at this point, I think they probably got the tornado, hail, and wind risk pretty much nailed down. And here's another reason why I think this tornado risk has increased. I'm going to go to Mega Doppler here. So stand by for just one moment. We're going to go to Mega Doppler. And one thing that I'm noticing is that these storms are initiating right around the Joplin area. And notice how they're kind of just firing off here right now. This means that the warm front boundary is very close to northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. It's kind of shaped like this if you follow my mouse. And I could draw it on the surface map as well, but it's kind of shaped like this over our weather coverage area. And the storm motions with the cold front moving in off to the south and east, you're going to be seeing these storms moving off to the south and east. And if that warm front can stay in close proximity to northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, you can get what we call a boundary rider, where a storm rides the boundary and then progresses off to the south and east and taps in to that low-level wind shear and that low-level jet that kicks in during the late afternoon, early evening hours. So while initially these storms probably will not have a high tornado threat, as we progress throughout the evening and they mature even more, that's when the tornado potential is going to start increasing. So very interesting thing that I'm noticing here. That's why I think the tornado potential has increased, and that's why I think we need to definitely stay weather aware. When do you think a tornado watch will start for the Clarksville area? Good question, Ginger. I think that the tornado watch, at least the first one, may not be issued for the River Valley. That's just because the timing is going to be a little bit later. So I do anticipate a tornado watch to be issued for northwest Arkansas within the next 30 minutes to an hour and a half. I would anticipate that will be the case. And then as we move throughout the late afternoon, early evening hours, probably right around 4 o'clock, Ginger, I think that's when the tornado watch will be issued for the River Valley. It's always hard to pinpoint when exactly those are going to be issued, but I think that's going to be what we're looking at, just checking out the latest timing and everything. Let's look at some more questions here. Did you say from 2 to 10? Yes, Elena. Yes, 2 to 10 p.m. In terms of our severe weather threat. If storms don't develop at 2 p.m., don't say it's a bust, everybody, because we've got that time range for a reason. 2 p.m. is just in case these isolated thunderstorms that are going on in southwest Missouri begin to take off and move through northwest Arkansas a little bit quicker. And I'll show that too here on our weather graphics. Again, this is the latest day one convective outlook. And if you're just now joining and you saw the morning shows, you're probably like, okay, that's the same as what we had earlier, but that's not the case, because now the tornado potential has increased for our area. In fact, it pretty much encompasses the entire KNWA Fox 24 coverage area. So this is a concerning trend right here. You definitely don't want to see this uptrend during the noon update, because that means there's a lot of things that are starting to come together for that tornado potential to be a little bit higher. So we'll definitely need to keep a close eye on all this. Looks like that boundary is setting up to the northwest of Tulsa. KI-NX radar showing a vocal point with convection firing off to the northwest of Tulsa. And that's exactly what's happening right now. I am on the Fort Smith radar, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that to Tulsa, because we'll need to be on Tulsa anyway initially with these showers and storms. Jacob, I do not think we will have a PDS tornado watch. I think that very low chance of that happening. PDS tornado watches are typically issued when you're expecting many significant tornadoes. We're talking about 1 or 2 strong tornadoes potentially over northwest Arkansas if these storms can tap into the environment. So there's still that threat of strong tornadoes, but it's not high enough to warrant a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch. Let's see here. Just issued tornado watch in southwest Missouri. So we're going to see that in just a minute here. I'm going to probably get an alert on that in just a few moments. But if there is a tornado watch in southwest Missouri, then that means northwest Arkansas will be added very, very soon. Melissa says, I don't think it's going to be a bust today. It's humid out and feels in the air like something is brewing. That is for sure, Melissa. Sometimes these events can bust, but, sometimes you also step outside. It just has that feel to the air. It's very soupy outside right now. It feels like a late spring, early summer severe weather setup, except this time we actually have upper level support on top of all that instability. So, Becky, no, the risk hasn't lowered. The general severe weather risk has remained the same, Becky, but the tornado potential has gone up. So the risk has not lowered. The enhanced risk is still in place over northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, but the tornado potential has gone up in the latest day 1 convective outlook. So that if that's what you were wondering, that's what we're looking at right now in terms of that latest risk. So Savannah, we definitely want the rain. That is for sure. And the rain over the last several days, I know, has definitely helped out for the farmers. I just hope that we don't see the severe weather in addition to that. I'll take some rain. I'll take a nice slow soaker like we saw Sunday earlier this week. Man, that was just perfect for rain. But I don't want to see hail either because I know that can damage crops, especially big hail. So I don't want to see the severe weather. I'll wish the severe weather away, but I won't wish the rain away. We definitely could take as much rain as possible, though we have had quite a bit over the last several days. Let's see here. So I see a lot of questions from folks about leaving school early and leaving work early and stuff like that. So here's the deal. Here's my answer to the question on that, because that's always such a complicated thing. In terms of school, I know typically school gets out at 3 o'clock p.m. I think that most of these thunderstorms, at least significant severe thunderstorms, are going to be occurring after 5 o'clock p.m. So I don't think kiddos should be picked up early from school. I don't think schools should cancel classes in the afternoon, at least in the early to mid-afternoon hours. In terms of work, you need to be watching that radar very, very closely. You need to be watching it like a hawk. If you leave work at 6, 7 o'clock p.m., you're going to be under the gun potentially. Having said that, if you can delay travel a little bit, in northwest Arkansas as these storms are initiating, that would be great because you'll be able to kind of avoid that hail and that damaging wind and tornado threat just a little bit more and be able to shelter in place just in case. But I still would not let the kiddos out of school early. These storms are going to be so fast moving that, these will be impacting your area for about 30 minutes and then they'll be out in terms of significant severe weather potential. So if you could delay travel a little bit for work, that would be perfect. If you can leave a little bit early, that would be perfect if your work's okay with that. But in terms of, school and stuff like that, I don't think you should go and pick up the kiddos early. In terms of after-school activities, maybe that occur at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, sports practices and things like that, I wouldn't have those just because people will have to drive back and there'll be issues there. I see a lot of folks are talking about tornado sirens going off in Fort Smith. That has to be a test. So they're just testing out the tornado sirens right now in Fort Smith. There's no thunderstorms that are occurring in our weather coverage area right now. I can show you that on Mega Doppler. As you can see, nothing going on right now. So we're all good along I-49, Interstate 40. They're just doing a test right now. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. Will the weather start to quiet down as we go through mid to late May into summer? So Amber, there is some indication that the weather will quiet down a little bit, at least in terms of significant severe weather over the next week or so. But having said that, we are going to be in a warmer than normal pattern, I think, for the latter half of May. You can see that reflected here on the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Weather Prediction Center, the Climate Prediction Center. Man, there's just so many different centers, and my brain has just been all over the place over the last several days. And then we also have what are the normal conditions favored. So when you get that overlap, typically it means that the severe weather threat's not done. So yes, we are going to get a break, but we're still right smack dab in the middle of primary severe weather season. We still got June to get through, which can bring some severe weather, some high-end severe weather to our area. And as we saw last year, even July and August could do it if you get those MCVs that move through Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So, yeah, we've still got to keep an eye on things, but we will get a nice break for the latter half of this week. And if you want proof, I've got you. Check out our latest 7-day forecast. I'm about to sneeze. I hope I don't have to right now, so bear with me. Okay, it froze up. I didn't have to sneeze. Do you guys just hate it when it feels like you're about to sneeze? It like bellows up and then it just stops. That's what just happened to me right now. Literally, I was about to just go ham into the camera, but I stopped myself. I think it's because I've been on air so long that I've been trained to just hold it in. So I just, on reflexes, held in that sneeze. But here's the latest 5-day forecast. High temperatures, lower to middle 70s as we go throughout the Thursday through Saturday time frame. Overnight lows in the upper 40s, right around 50 degrees. So, man, it's just going to be great. And also, check out the winds. I just got to comment on this real quick. If you're going to Baumwalker Stadium Friday, Saturday, Sunday, man, I'm forecasting a lot of home runs for the Arkansas Razorbacks because that's the perfect win for some good home run action at Baumwalker Stadium. So if you're going to Baumwalker this weekend, which I will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then get ready because I think the Hogs are going to be scoring a lot of runs. I think the Hogs by 90 vibes are going to be immaculate later on this weekend. But having said that, we've got more energy that's going to be moving through for the early part of next week. Right now, 20% chance of showers and storms, but I did update that to 30%. I just looked at the latest data. I think Monday into Tuesday could have a little bit more rainfall, but I think the severe weather potential will be lower with that. I'm not going to say it's 0%, but there will be some severe weather potential perhaps with that system coming through Monday to Tuesday. So we do get a break over the weekend, which is great. Temperatures are going to be great. Middle to upper 70s, lower 80s with low humidity. So that's even better. And then overnight lows generally in the middle to upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. So it is going to be feeling a lot better as we go throughout your weekend. So just get through one more day, at least this week of severe weather. Stay weather aware. Don't let your guard down. We'll get you through this. Praying that it busts, praying that it's not that big of a deal, and then we'll move on from there. And we'll get to that weekend. But again, if you're just now joining, we've seen an uptrend in that severe weather potential. We've seen an uptrend in that tornado risk, and we need to keep a close eye on this after 4 to 5 o'clock p.m. here in Northwest Arkansas. Let's see here. My husband goes from Pea Ridge to Springdale at 5. Should I tell him to leave at 4? Yeah, I think it's just so hard because remember our severe weather timing is from 2 to 10. I still think the main severe weather risk is going to be after 5. So I think 4 o'clock is probably better for sure. I think that would be the time to leave. But just make sure he's staying weather aware, keeping an eye on the radar. And if there is storms that are developing, just tell him to stay there, wait till the storms pass, and then head on down to Springdale. It's going to be one of those things that happen very quickly and then move out very quickly. So we're not talking about a long-term severe weather threat in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Once those storms move through, the severe weather potential will be completely over. So just tell him to keep an eye on things, but I think 4 o'clock should be an okay time as long as storms are not firing off on them. Tommy, I'm praying for that too. Hopefully we get a cap and everything develops east of our area. I hope so too. That's what we want to see. We want to see a big old cap bust right there. We want to see the Colby effect work out for us as well. So we're praying for that here in the Weather Lab. We want it to not be too big of a deal because I am concerned if these storms do take off that they could have impacts to people's property for sure. By the way, if you want to get some more updates, you can scan that QR code on your screen as well. I always like to talk about the free Weather Authority app. You can find that on the Google Play and Apple App Store. It's going to have the latest hour-by-hour forecast. You can see radar. You can see our video forecast updates. I'm going to be updating our live weather blog in just a minute with those latest graphics. But this is a great app to have. And, of course, we'll be keeping you posted on that as we go throughout the rest of this week. I see somebody wants to see the future radar again. So here's the latest model data. I'm actually going to show you the short-term HRRR because I want to see what those trends are showing right there. Let's go through a couple of models, actually. So before we get to the high-resolution refresh model, let's look at the graph 3 kilometer here. Let's see what it's got going on. So it's got those isolated storms off to our north and west. Temperatures, man, milled upper 80s, right around 90 degrees. Now, this has storms developing earlier than the HRRR, folks, and it has it developing farther north and west. So I saw a lot of comments saying that model didn't show anything over northwest Arkansas. Well, this model does, and I actually think it has a pretty good grasp of things. You can see all those cells that are developing in northwest Arkansas right around 5, 6, 7 o'clock, then bellowing up in the river valley right around sunset, and then continuing to ride along I-40 through about 10 to 11 o'clock p.m. So this model right here, I think, has a great picture and a great idea of what's going on. So 5, 6, 7 o'clock p.m., I think that's when things really start getting going in northwest Arkansas. And then right around 7, 8 o'clock, you're starting to see some storms bellow up in the river valley. So you know what? As much as I don't like the graph, Dan, if you're still on here, I don't know if you agree or not with this, but I think the graph has the best idea of it right now, believe it or not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So yeah, that's interesting. The graph did a lot better than I thought it would. And if the HRRR is not showing anything in northwest Arkansas, well, I think it's not doing a great job right now with all the forcing that we're going to have at play and all that energy that's kicking in later on this afternoon. So the HRRR, if you believe it, already has storms in northwest Arkansas, which we go to Mega Doppler, and that's not happening right now. However, there is some initiation going on just off to the north and west of Tulsa along this boundary. So that is an interesting trend right there. We'll see if any storms start to develop in northwest Arkansas within the next hour or so, which is why we said 2 to 10 o'clock. But again, I think main severe weather risk is going to be later than that. Now, here we go. Folks were asking, they were saying the HRRR didn't show any storms over northwest Arkansas. Well, now it does. Now you can see supercells developing right around 6 to 7 o'clock. So it's starting to catch up a little bit. It does really intensify those storms along the I-40 corridor. Broken line of supercells, folks. This favors tornado potential right here. This is a broken line of supercells like the HRRR is showing right at the magic hour. We call it the magic hour in the storm chasing community because right around 7 to 8 o'clock, that's when the low-level jet cranks up really fast, and that's when the tornado potential is a little bit more elevated. 7, 8 o'clock, if these storms are already developing and already producing large hail, they will have the potential to produce tornadoes. So certainly not what you want to see in terms of an uptrend there. But again, that's why we say stay weather aware, because in terms of specific locations that are going to see the most significant severe weather, that is always determined in the short term, within like an hour or so, when those storms are already taken off. We're still in the forecasting phase right now. I know a lot of folks are asking about specific locations. We just can't pinpoint those things until storms actually start firing off. So, yeah, Brandy has a good point right here. Why is everything happening in the dark? The last few bad storms we've had, like this system, it seemed like a slam dunk that things would get going in the afternoon, but that's just not the case. It's going to be getting going late afternoon, early evening hours. So got to keep an eye on that. Okay, so Ray has a comment here. I know that you guys understand all the specific weather jargon. However, 99 out of 100 of us that are listening to your broadcast have no clue what 5,000 joules per whatever unit affects the weather. I realize that each television station is competition at the time and manner is greatly appreciated by those of us who listen. I can only speak for myself. So, Roy, here's the deal. You won't hear us talking about stuff like this on air, right? I have never talked about specific weather units on air. But having said that, I really value education in the weather world. I think that people need to be educated on these things because they need to know about what our forecasting process is, right? And this is the stuff that we use in our forecasting process that we just can't explain on air in 3 minutes and 4 minutes. That's why we have these weather live streams, so that we can be a little bit more specific about what we're seeing, right? So you were talking about, 5,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. That's instability. That's our measurement of instability. That's the measurement of the amount of fuel that we have in the atmosphere, for example, right? And if you have higher levels, higher values for that, that typically is going to enhance your severe weather potential. In that case, explain low-level wind shear. So low-level wind shear, remember, wind shear is the changing of the winds with height, right? So at the lowest level, if you have a changing of the winds with height at the lowest level of the atmosphere, then you are going to have a higher end tornado potential, right? And that's why when we say the low-level jet, low-level wind shear, it starts kicking in during the evening. That's when the tornado potential starts to increase once again, because initially we aren't going to have high low-level wind shear. So when we don't have high low-level wind shear, that typically favors a very large hail risk. And when that low-level wind shear continues to increase, we start to move away from that hail risk and have more of a tornado threat as well. So that's kind of an insight look into the forecasting process. I know folks, maybe they don't like us talking about the scientific stuff, but I think this is the time to talk about it, right? Because I think it gives a more detailed explanation for things. I think people need to understand what goes on with our forecasting process. And I think we are learning from the best. That's for sure. I think Dan Scoff is the best in the business, and that's why I'm so blessed and thankful to be working under him, because he's taught me so much about the weather. I've loved weather my entire life. It's my passion. God's called me to do it. I know he has my whole life. And I'm just very thankful to be working here in Northwest Arkansas, a place that I've grown up in, graduated from the U of A in 2021. And I say it all the time on these weather live streams, but I just am very thankful to be here and talking with you guys right now. So thank you so much, Jackie, for those kind words. And for also for folks talking about the education side of things, because I think learning does help. And I appreciate those very kind words as well, Kelsey. That means a lot. And like Jane said, learning does help. And I think now's the time to educate things, because we won't have time to talk about that kind of stuff once severe weather's happening. And so we really, really appreciate you guys. I think we have just amazing community, amazing viewers, and I just love this area. And I just love Northwest Arkansas so much. I love the state of Arkansas in general. I've lived here my whole life, so it's just a dream come true to be here. But there's that latest future track once again. And these are those storms that are going through. Again, as we get a little bit farther east into the night, that tornado potential is going to start increasing once again. And so we will have to watch that. We'll have to watch that very, very closely there here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But again, if you just joined, I'm going to go through this one more time. This is the latest day one convective outlook. This outlook in general has not changed. It's a level 3 out of 5 enhanced. The moderate risk is just off to our north and east. That is a wind and hail-driven moderate. Keep that in mind when you start seeing these little risks that are about to pop up here. So there's that pink shaded area off to our north and east. That's that wind risk. That's in the extreme range. But here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, we also have the potential for wind gusts over 75 miles per hour. We also have the threat of large hailstones over 2 inches in diameter. But now, in the latest day one outlook, we have been upgraded to a medium risk for significant tornadoes over a large part of our weather coverage area. And that's the update that we've seen. That's the uptrend that we didn't want to see. And this is why we need to be weather aware this afternoon. Just make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Weather Authority app, great resource to have. Weather Call Next Gen, a great resource to have. I know a lot of folks can attest to this. And if you signed up for Weather Call Next Gen, let me know. How did it work the other night when we had all the severe weather? If you have access to this, let me know. But Weather Call Next Gen, great thing to have. It works on your cell phone, works for emails, and it works for landlines as well. Landlines, huge thing right there. I know a lot of folks use landlines as well. You might not be in a good coverage area. So landlines are a big thing that we want to harp on this. You could visit that website that you see right there on your screen for more information. It's a small fee. It's a little over $1 a month to sign up. But Weather Call Next Gen will give you the warning. They'll give you a call, give you a text, they'll give you an email only if you're in the warning polygon. And I think that's so important. I really value social science. I really think messaging is so important when it comes to weather. And I know there is such a thing as a warning fatigue. You could be living in, Bella Vista, right? And there's a tornado warning that's in effect for southern Benton County, and you still get the tornado warning all the same. You're not in the immediate path of the storm, and you still get the tornado warning, and that kind of increases warning fatigue. Weather Call Next Gen fixes that issue. Sign up for it today, guys. You will not be disappointed. A lot of folks talking about it right now. Next Gen, great resource to have. I love Next Gen. It's absolutely fantastic, and you can visit that website right there for more information to get registered. Again, there is a small fee that's involved. We're working really hard to get a trial version maybe up in the future. I think that would be fantastic. You will not be disappointed. I trust you. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So that's Weather Call Next Gen. This is the latest tornado risk right here, which is why you need Weather Call Next Gen. Here's a good question right here. Rockwell Acres Farms asking about Weather Call. So what makes Weather Call Next Gen different, Rockwell Acres Farm, is that you will actually have access to live radar data as well. You're going to get up to the second information. You're going to get lightning data as well. You're just going to get a little bit more information, just a little bit more well-rounded, risk and things like that. A little bit more of a well-rounded kind of coverage from Weather Call. So that's what Weather Call Next Gen is. It's just basically an upgraded version of Weather Call with the same idea. Jackie, Next Gen was terrific, but seeing you break down in front of a tornado coming gave me a heart attack. Oh, Jackie, I'll tell you this. Look, it's the worst possible moment for that to happen. And my mom and I talked about this too. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise, from God or somebody as well, that we just got stopped there because we were well south of the area of rotation. We were not going to be impacted by that. I knew it. There was a bit of panic initially just because, we weren't getting access to velocity scans, but I did see a funnel cloud move over just north of our location right before the police came to pick us up, which, by the way, the officers that picked us up, I didn't get to catch their name, but they were just absolutely fantastic. They got us out of harm's way. They got us down to Mountainburg, which actually where the other tornado dropped off that was just south of us. And they did a fantastic job with us, and they really did amazing work. So I really appreciate them coming to help us and keeping us safe during that. But we were not in any immediate danger, thankfully. We weren't in the path of the tornado, but we were able to get out of there. Brandon Davis, who that was the vehicle I was in. He's one of our storm spotters here at KNW. I was storm spotting with him. And we were able to get his car taken care of yesterday. So everything worked out, and I'm just very glad that we were not in the path of the tornado when that happened. So here we go. If y'all keep drinking those Baja Blasts, you too will be well-rounded. That's a good point right there, Roby. Yeah, I've been working on working out, just a little bit. As you could tell, I'm just totally swole. I'm 140 pounds soaking wet, by the way. But you're exactly right about that. I say it's totally worth it though, because I love Baja Blast Reese's. They're just the best. They're just amazing. Let's see here. It's been sunny in Berryville for a bit. Yeah. And that's not what we want to see either, Lisa. That's all that instability and that moisture that's starting to increase right now. Jordan say, what is the Next Gen app? So it's not an app, it's a product. And Jordan, what I'm going to do here is stand by for just a minute. I'm going to pull up the weather call information one more time here. I'm going to actually show you the website here on the stream. So just stand by for just a second. But there's the website below right there for more information if you want more details on weather call or if you want to sign up. But I'm going to go to this site to kind of show you what you can look for here to sign up for it. So just stand by for just a few moments because I think that is a very important question right there. And I want everybody to know where they need to go. So I'm gonna pull that up right now, and I'm going to share my screen. So just stand by for 1 second here. It takes me a little while to get that pulled up. So I'm going to pull that up in a new window right there, and I think you guys can see that full screen. So this is the website you'll go to. So it's weathercallservices.com/KNWA-NextGen. And I'm going to post that too in the comments as well. So you can take a look at that right there. And basically, if you get to this website, you're going to see all the latest details about Weather Call Next Gen. You're going to kind of see an example of a text that can be sent from them as well. And then if you scroll down a little bit more and get down to the which option fits for you, you're going to have two links here. One of these is an upgrade to Weather Call Next Gen link. So if you already have access to base level Weather Call, you can upgrade to Weather Call Next Gen by clicking this link here. Most of you are probably new to Weather Call Next Gen, and you're going to click on this link right here, register for Weather Call Next Gen. And again, being transparent, there is a small fee that's associated with that, but the fee is only a little over $1 a month. You cannot beat that, folks. A little over $1 a month to get life-saving information, up to the second radar data, up to the second severe warning data, only if you're in the warning polygon. So this is just awesome stuff. I'm so happy we have access to Weather Call Next Gen. I'm so happy that folks have used it and have been getting good mileage out of it as well. I've seen a lot of folks saying that they love it and that it really helps them out during severe weather events. So again, if you go to weathercallservices.com /KNWA-NextGen, then you're gonna be able to get more information on this. If you just scroll down, you can register for that right there. So I think that's absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad people are signing up for that, and hopefully tonight we can get you all that life-saving information that you need. We are going to give you all the life-saving information you need because we're ready to rock and roll here. We're ready to bring our A game, and we're going to keep you safe as these thunderstorms move through northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So again, we've seen an upgrade a little bit in terms of that tornado potential. Most of the models now have a pretty good idea in terms of how exactly these storms are going to develop. You can see that right here. I lean more towards after 5 o'clock p.m. I think after 5 o'clock p.m. now is when these storms are really going to start taking off in southwestern Missouri and northwest Arkansas. I'm going to go to an even more specific model loop right here. This is the latest HRRR, and check this out. It's got storms getting going in northeast Oklahoma, southwest Missouri, right around 5 o'clock, moving through northwest Arkansas. Ooh. This is uptrending, folks. So again, it's just guidance. It's just a model, but now it's got widespread initiation over northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And I just mentioned that at the beginning of this weather live stream. I didn't buy what the original HRRR was showing at the beginning of this, that there wouldn't be any thunderstorms in northwest Arkansas. I think we get thunderstorms in most locations across our weather coverage area. How severe those are, still to be determined. There's a lot of factors at play there, but man, that large hail risk is very real. The instability is going to be very high. And, somebody was talking about, I saw that comment earlier too about, instability and what does this mean and stuff like that. I'll show you just how much instability we're talking with right here. So I'm going to open up another tab. So just stand by for 1 second. And we're going to just take a look. We're going to geek out just a little bit, and we're going to look at that instability that we could have here in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. So stand by for just 1 moment. I'm going to pull this up full screen so that everybody can see it. Go back to StreamYard, present our window, and we're going to take a look at some of the latest model runs and how much instability they're popping out. So this is Pivotal Weather. This is one of the resources that we use to forecast severe weather. It kind of shows our ingredients that we have in place for everything, and we're just going to go ahead and press submit there. I don't know why it's doing that. Why are you doing this right now? Okay, we're logged in now. So we're going to go to the latest high-resolution model here, and we're going to take a closer look at the state of Arkansas, and we're going to look at how much instability is going to be funneling. Now, we're not going to go to the 12Z because the 12Z is completely off base on initiation. We're going to go to severe weather parameters, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we've got going in terms of instability. So I actually do need to take a water view. I forgot about that if you want to see instability. So we're going to go to severe weather, and we're going to go to our surface-based instability. And look at this. Look at how much instability is already in place over our area. 5,300 joules per kilogram of instability, folks. That's like on the purple end of the spectrum here. I mean, you're talking about very, very high levels of instability. And it's going to be moving into northwest Arkansas this afternoon as well. We've already got about 4,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. And I mean, this is just very high instability, especially for this part of the country, especially for our area. And that's all that fuel that's required for shower and storm development and for severe weather to maintain itself. And so it's going to be in place in the River Valley as well this evening and throughout the early overnight hours before finally swinging off to the east of the area tomorrow morning as that cold front moves in. But this is what we're talking about when we say instability. This is our measure of fuel in the atmosphere. And let's go ahead and take a sounding on this at 21Z as well. Let's take a look at what the photographs look like. So very steep lapse rates is the first thing that you're going to notice here. And that's that area right there, that red line. If that temperature line is dropping straight down there or rising up per se, you're having those temperatures drop off very quickly. That is very steep lapse rates right there. And the cap is already eroding at this point too. In fact, there's pretty much no cap at all by the time we get to the mid to late afternoon hours in northwest Arkansas. Now, your low level wind shear, this is a photograph, not very high at this point. So this is why the hail potential is going to be pretty significant over northwest Arkansas initially. But as we go along in time, that line there, this pink line, that lowest level of the atmosphere, right, that's going to start getting longer. And you can see that right here. Still not too high, but look at all these hail logs for significant hail. I mean, that's going off the page right now. That's how many the matches there are for severe weather events in the past that had significant hail with a very similar environment. So we're going along in time here. We're at 23Z here, so we're getting close to that magic hour where I was talking about the low-level jet, and bam, right there, this is where the low-level jet's kicking in. This is where your low-level winds closer to the surface have now expanded, and now you're talking about this high precipitation supercell that could produce tornadoes, and some of those could be strong. That's why you're seeing this PDS tornado as the possible hazard type. Again, just because the sounding is showing this environment in place doesn't mean that the thunderstorm is going to tap into it, or necessarily that this model is correct either. Very fat instability right there, though. Maybe a little bit of a Cape Robber trying to show up there, but I don't know if I necessarily buy that. Pivotal weather parcel is always a little bit off. But, man, look at the 0 to 3 kilometer Cape as well. We're getting really nerdy right now. A 0 to 3 kilometer Cape, in my opinion, is one of the most important aspects of producing tornadoes. Something that's often overlooked as well. And 181, 0 to 3 kilometer Cape, that's your lowest level instability right there. That is tornado fuel right there. So, again, not saying this is going to happen, but the environment is certainly there for the tornado potential to continue to increase throughout the evening. Now, this sounding was a little bit contaminated, but the point is, we're talking about a day where we have to keep an eye on things. And now at this point, the sounding's contaminated because the thunderstorm's moving through the area. But at 0Z, as the magic hour is happening, right around 7 o'clock p.m., that's 0Z, that's when your low-level jet is really starting to kick in. And let's go a little further along in time here. Let's go to the river valley. Let's check out what's going on in Fort Smith at 0Z. So low-level wind shear, still not too great quite yet, but still very steep lapse rates, fat instability right there. 0 to 3 kilometer Cape, not too high. Storm relative helicity from the surface to 3 kilometers at 167. So that's increasing right there during the evening. And bang, there it is right there. That's a low level jet. And it's still not very high, but it's definitely more than enough. And your storm relative helicity is now increased to 200. So you've got a lot of spin going on now. A lot of a much more favorable environment for tornado potential at this point as we go throughout the evening hours in the river valley. And at this point, the system has moved out of the area. But, yeah, definitely something that we've got to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at the significant tornado parameters. I know some meteorologists would say you shouldn't look at this, but I think it still gives you a general idea on the role of low-level jet, right? Because, we still got, the significant tornado parameter in place over northwest Arkansas, but really the tornado potential is not going to increase until this evening when that low-level jet kicks in, when your low-level winds become a little bit stronger. And that's why you're seeing a big bump in that significant tornado parameter over northwest Arkansas. Some purple starting to show up along that cold front there. Look at that, getting enhanced throughout the evening hours as that low-level wind shear continues to increase. Let's take a look at this sounding just off to the south and east of Fayetteville as well. Contaminated sounding, so I'm going to ignore that. But let's go back in time just a little bit. Let's go a little bit farther east in our weather coverage area here towards Franklin County. And again, the level winds are increasing. You've got quite a bit of dry air right here in the levels of the atmosphere, around 400 millibars. So that is something that I've noticed right there. But only favorable lapse rates for significant hail. There's no doubt about it. You can see how that temperature really changes very quickly as you go up through that column of air. So this is definitely an uptrend. That's for sure. And it's an uptrend over our area. I mean, there is still a tornado threat that's going on over Mississippi, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee. That's what's been talked about the most in the moderate risk area. But Northwest Arkansas and the river is seeing a big-time increase. And we definitely need to keep an eye on this. That's for sure. Let's take a look at the reflectivity with helicity tracks attached to them. Helicity tracks just basically meaning where there's been some spins in the atmosphere according to the model. And I'm sure we're going to see quite a few spins showing up here on this cluster of storms. And oh yeah, these little outlines that are going on here, that cluster of storms, that's going on there in the atmosphere as those storms continue to progress off to the east. So this is something we've got to watch out, folks. Look at that. It's got a pretty long helicity track, a Benton County area. It's got some helicity tracks going on just off to the east of there. Newton County, Carroll County, Madison County. So all of us need to stay weather aware. Again, these models are not even close to perfect. We're not perfect either. But there is the potential for significant severe weather this afternoon to the evening. You guys need to stay weather aware and just continue to keep an eye on that radar. And we'll keep an eye on it too for you. We're going to keep you safe. We're going to make sure that everybody is safe tonight here in our community. And that's the most important thing right there to us. So I'm interested. Let's just check out the dew points. Yeah. Moisture's definitely there. Oh my goodness. Dew points middle 70s. Are you kidding me? In May? That's crazy. Dew points in the upper 70s in Little Rock, man. That's crazy. I mean, it really does. Like in terms of like instability and dew points, it feels like a summertime severe weather threat over our area. But you just add the low level winds and the wind shear on top of it. And that's why the tornado potential has increased over Northwest Arkansas. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. I'm done geeking out. I hope I didn't lose too many people. Hopefully everybody found that information clear and concise. So, yeah, it looks like the audio was glitching out. Uh-oh. I just now saw all the comments. We're going to have to figure that out, guys, because we had audio problems last week too. And we had audio problems when we were trying to like show other sources because I was showing another source there. So I think my audio should be good now. If my audio is not good, let me know. But I'm seeing people saying the audio is good now again. So we got to figure that out. I'm going to talk to Dan about this because we had the same issue last week during the severe weather potential. So if the audio is consistently good, let me know. So I see everybody saying that it's good. So sorry about that. I apologize for that, guys. We're having some software problems because every time I show like a different source, like the audio just wants to get choppy again and stuff like that. So here's that future track again. I know everybody wants to see that. I was kind of showing that when I was showing that model data. But yeah, there's that severe weather potential right there. I know we also have a tornado watch in effect for portions of our weather coverage area. Let's check that out too. So let's go up here. There's that latest tornado threat, but we're going to look at the watches and warnings. And there's the tornado watch for Berry and McDonald County in southwest Missouri. That goes until 7 o'clock p.m. That tornado watch will be expanded into northwest Arkansas pretty soon, in my opinion. And then it will be expanded to the River Valley after that. But there's that latest tornado watch. Already some tornado warnings just off to the south and east of St. Louis. Check that out. Let's check out that tornado warning. So look at the hail size. Oh, my goodness. We have got to keep an eye on this, folks. 2.75-inch hail. That is almost softball sized. Are you kidding me? Wow. Big hail and tornado warning going on southwest of St. Louis. That is insane. My goodness. So, yeah, we got to keep an eye on this, folks. We're going to be here in the Weather Lab. We're going to be keeping you safe and be watching this very closely. Yeah, Beth, I would go ahead and clean it out just in case. Again, it's just one of those threats where you have to stay weather aware. Once tornado warnings are issued, go into your safe space, go into your shelter. We can go ahead and actually show the best areas to take cover during tornadoes. We showed this Sunday and Monday as well. This is our severe weather safety kind of map for you right here, for anybody that's interested. So again, the best place in general in a house, if you have this in your house, this is going to be the best place no matter what, is a basement below ground. If you're below ground, you are in the most protected area of your house. If you do not have access to a basement, or you do not have access to a storm shelter, then the next best things are going to be a hall away from windows at the center of the house, or a closet that once again is towards the center of the house. And you want to avoid at all costs windows, as you want to have as few doors as possible, and you want to have as few outside walls around you as possible as well. So that's why the center of the house is going to be the best bet. Personally, in my house, we do not have a below ground area. So at my house, we always go to a closet at the very center of the house, more specifically our pantry, because our pantry has the least amount of outside walls. It has no windows that are nearby, and it has only one door to get in and out of it. So that's why we always go to the closet in my house. And this is a very important kind of disclosure here too, because we have our DUCK acronym, and I'm going to show the DUCK acronym in just a minute. But I think this is fantastic information right here. This is something that is commonly not talked about. But you can cover yourself with blankets or mattresses, or wear a bicycle helmet as well in order to protect yourself, because your head is the most vulnerable part of your body when there is flying debris, right? So if your house does get impacted and there's debris, you want to have as much protection towards your head and neck area as possible, which is why a helmet and a mattress are great things to have. So these are two important pieces of information right here. So I'm going to go ahead and show our DUCK acronym as well, because I know some folks may not know what that means. So just stand by for 1 second. I'm going to pull up that acronym for you. But this means downstairs, under something, center of the house, and keep away from windows. Basically what I just said just a few moments ago in that map of what's the best areas to stay safe in a tornadoes. And so again, you want to be at the lowest level of the house. You want to be under something. It's under a roof, right? You don't want to be outside in a tornado. You want to be under a mattress, have a bicycle helmet on you. You want to be at the centermost area of the house, and you want to stay away from windows at all cost. So very important information right there. Let's see here. Yeah, 16ZH pulled some of that development more northwest, and that's what we just looked at right there, Josh. And long photographs in Washington County, 4,200K, it's there. That is for sure. It is there. All right, here's a good question from Katie. Where can I go if I live in an apartment? So in an apartment, you want to go, if you live on the second floor, for example, you want to get to the bottom floor first of all, if possible. Now, obviously, sometimes you can't go into somebody's house or something like that, but you can, get to maybe a dedicated area that they have there at the apartment, like a living area or something like that, and get into that location and be safe there as long as they have an interior room. If you cannot get access to a lower floor in an apartment, then you need to get to the center of the house as quickly as possible, or the center of the apartment as quickly as possible. The thing about apartments is that I know a lot of the times it's just not feasible for them to get to the lowest floor if they live on a second or third floor, because they don't know somebody on the first floor, or they just don't have access to it. Now, I know there's also a lot of apartments that too, you enter through the first floor and then you go up an elevator or something like that. You should go down the elevator and then get under, maybe the stairwell or something like that, because that's going to be in a more interior area. Maybe you can go into a closet space down there. If they have like a closet place or something like that, you can get there. But if your apartment is mostly outside for entrances, you can do one or two things. You could try to find a dedicated storm shelter that's close by, or get into the centermost house. But Josh said it best: lowest floor, centermost room. Either get to know the lowest floor neighbor to shelter with, or centermost interior stairwell with no windows. And that's what we're just talking about with the stairwell situation. So again, apartments are complicated situations, I know. Now, Johnny, mobile homes, absolutely not. You should not be in a mobile home whatsoever when a tornado is coming through. You need to find a different area to take shelter in. whether that be staying with a family friend tonight that you know in Northwest Arkansas, and staying with them. If they're not in a mobile home, if they're in a dedicated house and stuff like that, you need to get with them tonight. Or you need to have the storm shelter ready to rock and roll. You need to know where a storm shelter is, and you need to get away from the mobile home. But mobile homes are not safe whatsoever. Absolutely not. So look who has just arrived here. The man, the myth, the legend.
Worn out, weathered, exhausted, annoyed. What else can I?
Frustrated.
Yeah.
Fatigued.
Yes.
Lack of Baja.
Oh, not for long.
Not for long, though, because what do we have here?
Charging up the drone.
Yes.
Here.
Drone's getting charged up, and we've got Baja Blast cans still available.
Still be live.
Yeah.
So,
we got a lot of questions, man. We got almost 3,000 people on here.
and that's before
Yes.
the storms hit.
Hey, Brian's asking who is that guy behind me? Who is that? I've never seen that guy before.
There's an old weathered weatherman.
An old weatherman.
Yeah.
The weather is wearing us out. That is for sure.
It's warm. It's humid. The wind shear is stronger than what the models show. You can
Typical.
see the clouds moving. You just look at it visually. It's got that healthy cumulus appearance. It's
Typical.
It's gonna go.
Yep. And I was just showing the model data too on the HRRR-16Z. Photographs look much more favorable for tornado development, especially around the magic hour.
Yep.
7, 8 o'clock. Those long photographs start showing up with that low-level wind shear kicking in.
What about looking out the window? We looked at water vapor.
Yeah, we've looked at water
We looked
vapor.
at the visible satellite.
Yeah.
Because visible satellite is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So here's
look at all those bands right
yes.
there. Those are going to fire off storms. Models are well underdone.
Yeah, we already have initiation going on in southeastern Kansas and northeastern Oklahoma. That's where that front's starting to dive south, and that's where that forcing is starting to kick in. I knew the models were just all over the place earlier this morning when they didn't develop anything in northwest Arkansas. Just absolute garbage. So that's water vapor. That's high resolution water vapor right there.
We really need to get that high resolution Spire model.
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna fight for that.
Yes.
Already tornado warning in Jefferson County now.
Yeah, and by the way, did you see how big the hail was? 2.75 inches.
Yeah, and that's just starting.
It's just starting. Yeah, folks, we need to make sure we're staying weather.
I was telling my family to not be freely driving around. I was telling my family, so we sent a group text. I was just like, don't be freely driving around this afternoon into the early evening as these storms are developing, because there's a potential for some really large hail swaths in the area, and your cars will be destroyed with baseball size hail or larger.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not messing around. I know they got church. I know they got Wednesday night church.
Mm-hmm.
Cade does. Callie's going to be driving around, probably going to Seven Brew, all that stuff. Like, don't be doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep that car in the Harmon parking garage at the U of A.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of folks talking about sporting events, or they want to go to practices this afternoon and evening. You don't want to do that. You want to move that to tomorrow. You got baseball practice, little league baseball practice and stuff like that.
We'll
that needs
plenty
to be
of baseballs to hit as
Yes.
they're raining down from the sky.
Exactly, right?
But honestly, it all depends on when the storms develop too. That's the deal with is that still trying to
I just moved it up so we can have it.
But what I was going to say is it all depends on when the storms develop, because right now I see people enjoying the beautiful day. They're enjoying the sunshine. But you know what? These are the days when it's sunny, it's nice, it's warm. That's when people say in the storm stories, oh, it was a beautiful sunny day, and then storms came out of nowhere.
It's just like
that's
that.
what's going to happen today when these storms come out of nowhere. Maybe the cap holds. Maybe the storms don't pop. That's a possibility. But we are primed. Like I gave this example.
Mm-hmm.
You got a gasoline floor that's just covered with gasoline.
Yes.
Not just a cup, but an entire 5-gallon jug, and we're dumping it on the ground.
Yeah.
And I've got the match, and it's lit. Later on this afternoon, that match is going to drop. It's going to hit that gasoline. And everything's going to light.
And that's that instability. That's all that cape. 5,000 joules per kilogram. We were just talking about that too, and what that means and stuff like that.
That means that the updrafts, if you do the let's just say crude mathematic equation, it's the square root of 2 times cape. So you have cape is 5,000. You multiply that by 10 or by 2, you get 10,000. So that's 10,000, which is the square root of 10,000 is 100. So that's 100 meters per second that those updrafts are going to be rising, which is approximately 212 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
Now,
That's
that's not exactly
Yeah.
with water loading and friction, all that stuff. But about 200 miles an hour, you're going to see those clouds going up.
It is literally a snap of the finger. Like it's just going to go off, and it's not going to take a while to get.
And
going.
there's plenty of support.
Yes.
The lack of support is not an issue.
Yes.
So
yes, absolutely.
New tornado warning in Kentucky now too.
Yeah. So these storms are starting to take off now already, just off to our north where the warm front is. But look at Megadoppler right now. Already some convection breaking out in northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas. If you believe the computer models this morning, folks, they already messed up.
I found something. So I went by Radio Shack. The Radio Shack store is closing. And
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So they had a lot of stuff for sale. This is the Radio Shack store that you can't miss. It's right by Krav Maga, the martial arts place, right by the subway. It's off of College, right across from the McDonald's. I had to buy one of these. I couldn't find it anywhere around the house. It's a USB-C to 3.5 millimeter jack. So when we're doing live reports and we want to use our IFB, we plug this in, plug that into the phone, and then we can hear. Well, Apple likes to change all the ports on the phone all the time.
Yep.
So you got, before you had, what was it, the USB type, USB, micro USB.
Micro USB.
Then it went to Lightning.
Yeah.
Then the Lightning, the new phones went to USB-C. And so all the Lightning cables and everything that you have doesn't work anymore. As you can see, I'm a little irritated.
Hey, back in my day, remember when they had the fat
I'm about
ones?
to explode just like the cat.
The cat, yeah, right. Like you've got about let me see, 6,000 joules per kilogram of cape. You've got 9 degrees steep level.
Just wait till I get that Baja Blast in there.
That's your low level
I'll be
wind
like-
shear kicking in.
I'll
That's
be
the low
like,
level jet.
I am going
That's your low level jet kicking in.
Yeah,
right there.
that's
That's
right.
your long curved photographs.
Right there. Putting this shirt over my head and walking around, but I found it.
Yes.
That
Yes.
makes me happy that I found that.
Yes. Well, it's gonna be a busy day, y'all. That is for sure. And this is not completely updated because now, right? This is obviously from this morning, Dan. Change a couple of tornadoes possible to a couple of strong tornadoes possible. Yes.
That's what I was telling. That's why I was calling. I was like, they changed the risk.
Yeah.
And I know you went to the enhanced and didn't see any change.
I was waiting.
And then the tornado risk is changed.
Exactly. And man, it's pretty hard. It's been a while since I've seen all 3 risk over our area have significant potential. That's pretty tough to do with severe weather setups because usually if you've got, a lot of low level wind shear, right, then the hail risk isn't going to be as high. But no, initially with these storms, we're going to have giant hail possible, gorilla hail possible over northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. And then as we go throughout the evening, you start transitioning more to that tornado potential as that low level jet kicks in. So,
and let's just say this severe weather season, it's an average Tuesday, it seems like.
yeah.
Because we did have that one time where we had all 3 risks over the area too.
Yeah. This is unbelievable.
But yeah, it is very difficult. Normally it's large hail and damaging winds doesn't get that hatched area.
Yes. Yeah. If he has the Baja Blast, he'll start spinning the mid levels. Check for striations.
Yeah, I've definitely got that. Striations are available.
Any idea when the storm is really going to come in? I still think after 5 o'clock is when things are really going to get going. Maybe even earlier than that,
Look
which
at
is
the visible satellite.
Yeah.
Let's see if we got a healthy cumulus field.
Yeah.
That's the first indications of anything.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at that right now. We can look at our high resolution.
We'll probably be on the visible sector, by the way, too. So
yes.
go to
high resolution.
Scroll down
Uh-huh.
a little bit. Keep going right here. 1 minute viz, not one right there. 1 minute viz, mesosector east. Okay, now do 1 minute mesosector west. We got to be on some mesosector. Hold on, wait, just let it load.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes
We'll see where it loads.
It better be here.
It will. One of them's got to be on us. Okay.
That one's
That's
closer. So I bet it's this
interesting.
one. I didn't give that one time to load.
Let's see.
This one right here.
Oh, you didn't give this one.
There we go.
There it is. So we're on mesosector 2.
Oh my! Look at that.
That's what I'm saying. It's a cumulus field, man. And any one of these, look, in fact, we're already starting to get shadowing. So I think the models are underdoing the timing
Yeah.
a little bit.
That's why I put 2 to 10 o'clock.
Look at how fast they're moving, too.
Yeah.
Let me try something. Let me test something out.
Yeah. So does Dan have a tornado, hail, and high winds tie? You have everything? An everything tie?
This is honestly the everything tie.
Yeah.
I was a little frustrated that I didn't have the tornado tie on, but this is the everything tie right here. This is the Hook Echo, massive storms, severe weather. And I started wearing this because that Barnsdall tornado happened. I saw the other isolated cells that developed, and I was concerned. So I put this on thinking that those other cells would do it. But there was just a little bit of cap. There wasn't enough upper level energy, and those storms didn't really pop as expected.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as we went into the evening, it looked like it was just going to be linear, but then I started seeing the line of all north and south.
Yes.
When I went to a Razorback basketball game, I was at the concession stand, and there was a lady that says, I have a bone to pick with you. And I was like, uh-oh. So first of all, stand in line. It's like,
it's okay.
Stand in line. There's a lot of people that have a bone to pick with me, but they were just like, I did not like how you were changing your tie in the middle of severe weather. And I was just like, well, I had someone else covering it, but I kind of took that into account, and I was like, you know what, you're right. The tie is not the most important. Important thing is to get the information out. Mm-hmm. So I should have, in retrospect, should have changed the tornado tie. Kind of kicking myself that I didn't. But all that happened so fast.
But you didn't do it during the middle of live coverage wall to wall. You did it when we were still on Facebook Live and stuff like that. Before the tornado warnings.
Exactly.
Stuff. Yeah. You wouldn't do that when we had a tornado warning or stuff
wouldn't
like
do
that.
it while we're on. But I did. I did do it during a commercial break one time. So, anyways, we'll see what happens.
Look like today. That's what they could look like today.
This is what we could have: isolated supercells. That hook right in the center. That's the debris ball with the tornado kicking up all that stuff. So, yeah. Interesting stuff, to say the least. Absolutely. Bradley says if you go to the NWS page, you can go to the bottom of the page, find all the satellite data there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can. The only thing I don't like about when you go to the mesosector on Weather College page, you can't zoom in. So if you go back to the radar here, you can see those lights went out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I had to recharge it again.
Yeah, let's keep plugging it in and let's charge it up.
I've been on for so long. It's like, just wants to always go out.
But this, you can really zoom in. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but I developed another thing too. And this is called the sandwich. Now,
I remember you told me about this.
The question is did I put this into a mesosector? Probably not, because I didn't have time. But let's see here.
How much would Dan pay for a Weather Bucket branded Baja Blast?
Oh my!
5 gallons of sugar and caffeine. I'm thinking,
as long as it's got your autograph, Brian.
Yeah, I think
Brian's a cool dude, man.
Yes, he's thinking.
He had the beard going. I was thinking. I was like, I like this guy, man.
He's cooking.
And he came up. So this is I'm gonna throw this in. I don't know if you have this loaded. I don't know if you ever knew about this. I'm always doing stuff behind the scenes, Josh. But this is the mesosector high resolution satellite with an IR sandwich. So you can see where the cloud tops are getting colder, and that's where your thunderstorms are starting to pop up.
It's explosive development right now. I'm thinking these are going to develop earlier than what the models are showing. That's why I said 2 to 10.
Look at this right here. It's already developing close to Tulsa.
Yep.
And what did the HRRR have?
Oh, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't even have anything over Northwest Arkansas. And I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that this morning. And
let's look at this. Have you looked at the SIG-TOR parameter at all?
Yeah, I did. And so the SIG-TOR parameter, and you can clearly see on the SIG-TOR parameter the enhancement of a low level wind shear in the evening, because it goes from about 1 to 2 to 6, 7, 8 very quickly along that cold front. We showed that on Pivotal Weather as well. But yeah, here it is right here. So you're going to see, as Dan moves it along, how you're going to see those darker reds and oranges start to show up right around 6, 7 o'clock p.m. Bam, right there. Purples too.
Man.
Yeah, that's
right on the leading edge of the line. I don't think this front's going to be undercutting the storms, and so that really ramps up. But look at the amount of fuel that those thunderstorms have.
Almost off the charts on our maps on here.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
don't even have a high enough scale.
Yes. So this is big. I mean, I've been saying this all all morning too. I mean, we're having like Cape values that you typically see during the summertime. The thing about the summertime is you don't have the upper level support most of the time. That's not the case with this particular storm system. Not only do you have the insanely high instability values, but you have the forcing and the wind field
and the upper level energy.
And the upper level
Look
energy.
at that instability. Man.
I mean, that's just.
I mean,
insane.
you just step outside and you feel it. It's juicy.
It's juicy. Yeah. Insane mode.
Not talking about juicy fruit. Either.
As much as I like
it's
those.
juicy. Yeah, I know.
I like the fruit smiles too.
Do you think it's a possibility to be out in the river valley? But no, I think that's too early.
For the river
If
valley.
you look, here's 6 o'clock. Look at all the fuel that you still have available. And the front coming through is going to fire off these storms.
Yeah.
It's a big day. Got to keep getting ready, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. When will it get a watch? I think we get a watch within the next hour or so.
already watching Barry McDonald
Yep.
County. I don't know if
We showed that. Yeah, we showed that. Yeah, for Northwest Arkansas, it probably will be within the next hour or two. For the River Valley, it will come a little bit later, probably around 4 to 5 o'clock. That's when I'm projecting things to happen. So, yeah, we'll be getting a watch pretty soon. That's for sure. I can guarantee you we're going to get a watch. Juicy, says Sarah. Juicy is one of my favorite words. In fact, if you watch KNWA Today, you know that I probably say a lot of things that I shouldn't, such as bussin', no cap, right? I don't know if anybody knows what these terms mean, but I just like to have fun with it and stuff like that. So I personally am not okay with seeing snow until 2073. I'm right there with you. If we could have no more snow to forecast, that would be great. If we could just know if it's going to snow every single time, that'd be great. But yeah. I think I'm with you right there, Brian. I think I'm with you right there. Bradley's saying I think we have a tornado watch by 2 o'clock. I think that's probably right on the nose right there, Bradley. Now I have that juicy fruit commercial in my head. Sorry about that, Roby. That's just what we do around here. We get movie references, food references, everything. We always have something on the mind. That's for sure. Let's see there. I have my doors and windows open because we don't have AC. It is incredibly humid. That is for sure, Lisa. It is incredibly humid. Josh, appreciate you and Dan. God bless you guys, brother. God bless you too, Cole.
Dude.
And yeah, I'll be seeing you at Bum Walker. What's up, man?
We got a new board. Have you seen that puppy in there?
What?
Oh, yeah.
What?
A new switcher board. Okay, hold on. We got to get the Josh. We got to get the Josh reaction here. So we got a new director's board. We're going to have the ability to show more sources, more options. We have what's called MLEs. We have like 4 MLEs, I think, instead of 3. So yes, this timing is going to be, we're going to put a time window as early as 3 o'clock. I think that's on the earliest end, but we're just leaving it in there in case the storm pops a little early. But this is going to be mainly between 5 to 9 o'clock in the evening.
Dude.
So here we go. The reaction
right there. Oh my goodness.
There's the reaction.
That thing be bussin'. That is for sure. I love it. It's awesome.
That's the Ferrari of boards right there.
Yeah, dude.
Director's board.
It's got a little angle to it too. That's when you know something's really good, when it's got like a little curve to it.
Holy cow. Low gap is not low on the dew point.
75?
Let's see what the dew points are.
I checked them recently. They were consistently in the 70s up and down the I-49 corridor.
That doesn't happen very often, folks. This does not happen very often.
Not this time of year.
I know people are saying bust. I get it. This area busts more often than not. It's a very difficult area and region to forecast. But you know what? The times that it doesn't bust, we're here and we're ready for it.
Yeah.
Ready to rock and roll.
Much like yesterday morning.
Dew point, 69 in Fayetteville. $67 in Harrison.
Gone up even more.
We're going to have a guy power cycle Gaither Mountain, by the way, too. He's going to get out there by about 2, 3 o'clock and try power cycling it.
Perfect. What about Grab It?
No luck.
Dang it.
There's my best crickets impersonation.
Bleep, bleep.
Yeah. That was my crickets impersonation.
That's very good.
All right. What's the 3 kilometer graph do? Does it break out
It did.
any
It did.
storms?
It actually did. It actually did it before the HRRR
It's a
did.
weak line though. It doesn't show
Yeah,
it as much.
it's too
as it
weak.
should. Yeah.
But it actually initiated storms, unlike the HRRR earlier. Oh, don't do this. Okay. It's still weak line. That's
still,
too weak.
Still way too weak.
Yeah.
There we go. A little bit more as that energy swings in. But there's going to be some isolated supercells, folks. And Taylor's got a good question. What is the most concerning, hail or the tornado threat? I'm honestly saying both.
Both. They're both equal.
Straight line winds can cause just as much damage. In fact, some of that damage that I saw was part of straight line winds and not all the tornado. And that could do just as much damage and drop a tree down on a home. And there you go. You got essentially tornado damage.
Well, you said we had a significant amount of decape in place, which is typically favorable for damaging wind potential.
Downdraft cape.
Yep.
The swimming pool. I mean, right now you get the swimming pool.
Right.
Feels great.
Feels great.
Right? Till thunderstorms start
Going to your
rolling in.
house.
Yeah.
Pool party.
80/71 at Colby's house. Dude, that's up there, man.
I like Nikki. Ready to cook.
Josh,
I love that. Ready to cook. Ready to cook. Let them cook.
All right. Well, I saw that on a severe weather day, the new Twisters trailer.
Saw that too.
I gotta be honest, man. I'm a little disappointed they've gotten them hiding underneath an overpass.
I know.
Like,
I was
what
gonna
are
say
you
the same thing. I mean, I'm pretty hyped though.
I'll tell you what, the tornadoes look awesome.
The tornado wrangler.
Yeah. I like Glenn Powell.
Yes.
He's a stud.
Yes.
I like that dude.
Yes.
And he plays that perfect bad
boy.
guy, bad boy, you know, like got an attitude. You know, like he was awesome in Top Gun Maverick.
Oh,
so
yes.
Good.
I know that's like one of your favorite movies of all time.
So, Morgan, I know there's going to be a lot of people hopping on at the time. This is our time window. I think the precipitation forecast is the best to show you.
Yes.
Future models, throw them out the window. Garbage, trash, smash. like Hulk, smash.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. This is your best option on the timing. So, get to it. Probably need to reboot all these computers again.
Yeah.
So, here you go. That's your timing. Notice how it could start as early as 2, 3 o'clock. Probably not likely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got the most Riz
out of all
meteorologists.
I like
That's
it.
Good. That's going to be you.
You guys have been watching the morning shows.
You got the Riz,
yes,
the charisma. It was funny too because when they had the talent show for Haas Hall, I was one of the judges. Mm-hmm. And they had all the teachers come up and they were like, let's get into the millennial language here.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny. Like they had a bunch of different stuff like the ick.
The ick, yep. No cap. For real.
No cap.
Yep.
So there you got 60% for the chance of storms. So there's your timing right there. Mm-hmm. You want to know what the latest timing is. Dan using the Riz is so funny.
It's great. I love it. It's fantastic. You don't see any other meteorologists doing this, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
If we were going to see anybody who did it, it'd be on like TikTok or something. The singing meteorologist is on there from Houston.
Oh, I know.
He does the raps.
He does great.
Yeah.
I gotta say I'm the OG. Well, no, I'm not the OG. There was a Nick Koser. He was the original OG. And now he's doing a lot of dancing and stuff like that. But he was the one that did a lot of the raps.
Yes. Look, there may not be.
That's right. It is Gen Z. I'm sorry. It's not millennial. I'm not even up to date on the Gen Z language. I can't even get the phrases right. It's not millennial. It's Gen Z.
See, there might be many singing weathermen. But there's only one MC Cumulus.
There is only one C.
Yes.
Oh, that would be amazing, Angie. Do a little rap battle.
Oh, yes. I like this. Between you and Garrett Lewis.
Yeah.
I feel like he could spit some bars.
Oh, yeah. I think he'll slay.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. I love it.
Legend Ken Rank. Yeah. MC Cumulus needs to make an appearance again. But
once the severe weather passes.
Maybe when we get some new some new anchors, coworkers. We could start the vibe again.
Yeah, we
maybe
can get some immaculate vibes
Yeah.
back here.
Ooh, man. Come downstairs to the radio station.
Okay.
This is yeah, we know what this is. This is KISS.
Yes.
KISS 104.3.
Yes, sir.
Where we provide the weather forecast. The vibe,
The
man.
vibe, immaculate vibes.
Oh man.
Dude, we've started a Baja Blast trend, man.
I love this vibe.
Taco Bell needs to go ahead and sponsor us.
This really
honestly.
truly is a Baja Blast too.
Yeah, it really is.
If you look.
It's you can see the energy right there. Oh my goodness, dude! Just look at that trough.
I'm gonna get this stuff off of here real quick.
Yeah, that
just
was from
because
earlier.
no, I get it.
Yeah. That was in my show.
But let me just analyze this. So first of all, you can see the streaking in the in the short wave. So there's plenty of energy right there's the short wave, and that's where the storms popped. We can see another short wave starting to move in. This will probably fire off storms. This will probably be our energy right there.
Yeah.
And then you look off to the southwest, there's more energy. But the main problem, why we're going to get so much lift, is we have what's known as jet coupling. So if we look at this will break this down. We got the jet that's down here, but the jet max is essentially located right. That was terrible. Let me redo that here. So we got the jet quadrant, and these three lines represent the jet max. Okay. So this is our jet max right here. Well, you get the biggest rising motion on the left exit region of that jet, which is exactly where we're at. But then at the same time, check this out as that disappears. We have the jet streak that is here. And guess where that quadrant is? That is the right entrance region, which is also here. So this is where you have the left or the right entrance, the left exit, and your biggest rising motion is right in here. And that's exactly where those storms are going to pop. And that's why they're going to absolutely explode. So that is called jet quadrant theory. Well, let me show you. That's with the water vapor. I know you got the jet stream in here.
Yes, sir.
Because you demand. There's your jet quadrant theory.
Wow, that's right there on the model.
So you've got
Crazy.
the biggest rise in motion right here, which is where the storms are popping, and you got right here, which is where they're expected to pop. So there's your jet quadrant theory.
Around that knows that jet maximum.
But this is called jet coupling. And coupling is a synoptic feature that provides a lot of lift. And a lot of lift can be an issue. Are you do you have any type of a stream at all with a desktop? Let's go here.
Wait, oh, you mean like a new window?
Yeah.
I closed all the ones that I showed earlier.
I want to show this because
Mesoanalysis.
mesoanalysis is good. And if we go to forecast tools, one of my favorite things is looking at the big picture.
Love this. Yeah, this is the
And the
best
big
thing.
picture is this comp map. And this really does a good job picking up on these little short waves. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here as we look at this, present, then we'll go to our screen. Sorry to sabotage your
No, it's
live
sabotage.
stream right here.
No, this is bussin'.
Sabotage. Anyways, that was not my Beastie Boys impersonation voice. That was me just losing my voice.
We're not gonna need like a board. You are like the board.
I can't stand it. I know you planned it.
You are the board.
All right. So, anyways, there's a look at the energy that's coming in. Let me make sure this is what we got on here.
Yes.
Decaf. That's what someone said. I haven't had caffeine, man, and nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
No coffee. Just got a little bit of sleep, so I got a little more energy. But here's this wave coming in. You can see that banding and streaking that's developing. That's what's going to fire off our storms. If we look at the vertical velocities that are associated with it, there's the vertical velocities for the storms that are in southwest Missouri, southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma. That's where, when we go to our radar source, you'll see that right there. So there's the storms that are starting to pop where that greatest forcing is. But later on this afternoon, it won't take long. Oh, hey, all right. Hold on just a second.
Yeah, a lot of rising motion there. That is for sure.
Hey, Jason, what's up, man?
You're back up.
Sweet. You power cycled it?
Yeah, just feel for it.
Nice. Okay,
Nice.
all right.
Let's go.
So let's bring it up here and see if it works. Jason, we appreciate you. I know the people on Facebook Live appreciate you, especially Alexis in Western Grove.
Yes.
We appreciate it,
You're the
man.
GOAT, the greatest of all time.
All right.
All right. Let's see.
Connecting.
Yep.
There we are.
There we are.
Whee.
She's a rolling.
Look at this. Look at these cumulus.
I'll head
Man.
down the mountain, man.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You bet. I'll
Bye.
anytime that thing goes down.
Oh,
I'm not 10 minutes from it.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it.
See you.
Now, this is not going to show because for some reason it doesn't grab it right away, but that's okay. It is working because we can prove this here. So stand by. All right. Gaither Mountain back up and running, baby.
Yes, sir.
You know, I got to be honest. Sometimes these cameras are like children in a daycare. And I'm the dad, and I'm the caretaker.
You're just the over it caretaker.
It's like a bop. No, it's just like it's just like you have so many kids, and they're just walking up, smacking you in the legs, and you're just like, there's like, oh no, this one's out, this one's out. So let's show you this right here, like herding cats. That's
Yes.
the truth, man.
Yes.
These weather cameras are like herding cats,
That is.
but they're so important. So let's see here. Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is super nice. Check this out, man. Garrett Lewis said on his Facebook that I'm one of the best human beings he's ever met.
He's right.
Props to Garrett.
Yes.
And Garrett's a cool dude, man.
Yes.
And I know that he's loving what he's doing.
Mhm.
And hey, more power to him.
Yes.
The more people that get the word out, whether you're watching us, watching someone else, watching, Oz Weather, all that stuff, just as long as people get the information.
It's the most important thing. We
That's
want
what's
people to
so
stay
important.
safe. That's the most important thing to us. That's for sure.
Lincoln camera, you think it's going to cooperate? It's a toss up.
Please.
But so far, it's running good.
Please cooperate. That's such a good camera because it's one of our newer ones too. Got such a great view.
Yep.
Let's see here. Don't get me reconnecting. Okay. It's not saying reconnecting.
Boy, it connected fast.
Yeah,
there.
it did. Please.
Now let me say this. I'm going to say this again. I know I keep talking about this, but I am so ticked off that someone stole our weather camera at KISR FM, Kisser FM. Kisser is a great radio station, by the way. They do amazing stuff on the radio, and Fred Baker is amazing with the severe weather, coverage in the River Valley for residents. But my goodness, we would have seen that tornado coming through Cedarville. We would have seen the tornado in Southwest Washington County. This is why we have that stuff, so we can see it leading up to the line. And someone stole that darn thing, and haven't heard any reports from police, haven't heard anything from the people that they did the investigation with. And it infuriates me, because why would you take a camera like that? What are you going to do with it?
What's the point? There's no point to that. And then I don't like how there's just like a complete ghost town in terms of communication on that too.
Yeah.
Like nobody's explaining.
It just
what
totally
happened.
disappeared.
Nobody's trying to fix the problem. Like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it before, man.
It's really interesting.
It's super suspect. That's for sure. We'll just leave it at that.
And like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Josh Weisel. Why would you do such a dastardly thing?
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
there's no point.
Whoa, really? Hold on just a second. Braden
Let's see.
said, I did get a picture of the possible funnel cloud before the circulation in Cedarville became tornado warned.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you mentioning that, and you were talking about it. Can you do me a favor? Can you send that? Maybe I'll get to see it on Facebook. I got so many messages. I don't know. You talk about me struggling with Gen Z terminology. I struggle with social media because it's like I walk outside and I have 12 mailboxes to check the mail. I barely have time to look at and see if the mail has come in.
Yeah.
This is like new school. But anyways, it's kind of frustrating that, people will send something. Hey, I sent you something on Facebook. Then you got to switch profiles, because you got the personal profile, you got your page. And you can't do both with the same page. You got to like messages don't come into all one stream.
It's either or.
It's either or, and you
Yes.
got one on something else, and it's just like, Lincoln just went down for a little bit. There we go again.
The dreaded reconnecting the camera.
I don't understand it.
Why? Why?
Send through Messenger. Okay.
Okay.
Now this
Let's
might
check
take
that
me a
out.
half an hour
Got
to
switch
find.
to-
Oh, see, I get the
Hey.
notification and business notifications, but this is the dumb thing. I click on it, and you did get it.
That's the one near Cedarville.
Yep,
Oh,
that's it.
definitely it, funnel.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
No
That's
doubt.
probably. So those weather cameras aren't cheap, especially the ones that we have in Lincoln that is back up now. But they're about 2,000, a little over $2,000.
Yeah.
And with the mounting equipment and all that stuff, we're talking 2,500.
Yes. It's a big investment, but it's one that's worth it if we can get the cameras working and if they're not stolen. Which I just still don't get how they haven't fixed the issue. Like, if they stole the camera, why is there not another one that's being sent?
Oh yeah, we absolutely do stream, and in fact, we stream on my YouTube, and it's what we have right now going. So yeah, we
Yep.
stream all times.
Yep.
You need anything, Robin?
Tornado watch.
Is there one just issued?
There's Southwest Missouri,
Southwest Missouri.
but I don't know if there's one here. Well, I think it's Southwest Missouri, but let's check it out here. I'll look.
Check this real quick. Yeah, I know it's Southwest Missouri for sure. Oh, new mesoscale discussion for Northwest Arkansas.
All right, let's
yes.
get to it. And we'll look at it.
Wow.
And we'll check it out.
You gotta check out the wording on this thing.
I know I don't like it, man. I don't like it. We're gonna be real deal here.
All caps. All caps. Strong tornadoes will be possible.
Yeah, we got to get gearing up, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be bad news today. There's
Yeah.
the severe weather discussion.
Mhm.
Let me bring this up. No tornado watch yet as of now.
That's something on our air from the Mystic.
Is it for our area or is it for Southwest Missouri?
Barry and McDonough.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
it. That's just Barry and McDonald County.
Yeah.
That's this, Robin.
So it's.
It is correct.
Mhm.
It's this right here. But there's nothing for Northwest Arkansas. This goes until 7 o'clock. All right, let's bring this up.
Let's pull up that mesoscale discussion.
Now the problem is it's not going to be in their system yet. Oh, no,
there
it is.
Can everybody see that?
No, not yet because I don't have it up. All right. So yes, we can stream. We do stream. This is the SPC. This is new, and I think after this we got to shut it down because we got to get ready.
Yeah.
Supercells expected to form later on this afternoon. Very large hail and a tornado threat. Strong tornadoes will be possible. Watch probability 80%.
Wow.
There may be a chance that this goes PDS tornado watch. Particularly dangerous situation again. If they're talking about strong tornadoes in all caps, that will probably represent that's going to represent basically PDS tornado potential.
They don't do that lightly.
No,
They do not do
that
that
is all
lightly.
over our
Yes.
area. And look at the frontal. Okay, so here's what they're showing.
Uh-huh.
Visible satellite imagery as well as surface observation show a cold front. So we know we got the source of lift. Additionally, a dry line extends, blah, 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 to Del Rio. A very moist and unstable air mass, 3,000 to 3,500 to 4,000 joules per kilogram. Low-level convergence continue to increase along the boundaries with winds gusting 15 to 20 knots out of the west behind them. Effective deeper layer shear 45 to 50 knots. This combined with strong instability will favor the development of supercells, potentially producing 3 to 4 inch diameter hail early evening. Tornadoes, a few of which may be strong, will also be possible given the tremendous thermodynamic environment. Favorable storm mode and sufficient 0 to 1 storm relative velocity over 100 meters squared per second squared.
Yeah, this is trouble. This is bad news right here. Definitely a bad trend.
Did you talk about Weather Call Next Gen?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, we and actually showed the website too on this source as well. So we talked about it, and a lot of folks, by the way, Dan, were talking about their stories with Weather Call Next Gen. It worked great the other night as well. So a lot of folks loving it. I'm telling you guys, you will not be disappointed if you sign up for Weather Call Next Gen. It's only it's a little over $1 a month. Did the calculations.
Yeah.
But it's worth it for life-saving information. I want to stress this too. It also works on landlines. We were stressing that earlier, right?
This is big time.
Yes, this is the biggest point we want to make here. If you live in rural areas, I know that cell service is sometimes not the best. And that's why it's so important to have that landline and have access to that. And you can get that with Weather Call Next Gen. It works on all types of different resources.
So, first of all, I see the schools releasing early. For us, I don't think 3 o'clock is going to be a time frame where we have to worry.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a little too early,
Yes.
judging on the convergence that I see off to the west.
Mhm.
But here's the deal. How to show how to get it.
Yeah, we can show this again.
We're going to do that right now.
Yep.
So let me go ahead and I'll just do this.
Yeah.
I'll just do it in the same thing. All right. So you just type in. Here we go. Add to the stage. knwa.com. And there you see a forecast. I know you probably didn't even have a chance to put in the morning forecast yet, or Webb didn't yet.
I haven't
Yeah.
even been.
But what you're going to do is you're going to go to weather, and you're going to scroll over, and you see this area right in here. You see how we're highlighting that. You just scroll over and you go to weather call. Let me bring this up full so I can see. So weather, you hover over the weather tab, you scroll over, you go to weather call right here, you click on it, and this is Weather Call Next Gen.
Mhm.
Weather Call Next Gen is a service that will call you only if you're in the path of the warning polygon, but it also calls landline phones, and that is so big. So all you do is you scroll down here, and if you have weather call, you just go to upgrade, and this is how you register. So if you type it in, you put in your name, you make a little username and password like always, accept, and then it'll go through the steps on where to sign up and your location as well. You can now this is what it does here. So you can do that with weather call home. It'll call cell phones or your landline phones. And one thing I do want to mention is with Weather Call Next Gen is make sure that you put this number that it's going to call you from. It'll give you those instructions, but make sure you put that number that it calls you from into your phone. Otherwise, you might have spam turned on where it doesn't show, those calls coming through.
Yes.
It'll just immediately go to voicemail.
That's something that's happened before. I saw one person talk about that earlier when I was explaining weather call. That's exactly it right there. It's showing up as spam, so you're not getting those calls.
Yeah.
And that's it right there. That was it right there.
What, this right
I
here?
think this is the same person right here talking about how it goes to voicemail.
Yeah, Dan, whenever I get weather call Next Gen voicemail, it's always an incomplete message, such as this concludes when concludes when the weather notification, and that's all I get. Okay, well, I'll talk to him today about it. I think it does work, but the problem is I don't answer the calls because I'm in the middle of weather coverage.
Yes.
So
yes,
we know where the storm is. We know it's going to be hitting us, but it's great to have for us as well.
And 100%.
It's okay. So we already said that. This is what I send up for Next Gen when Dan recommended Morby mentioned. It lets you know, sign up multiple phone numbers. That's also important too.
Clutch.
And it lets you do a test call too. So you see what it's like. And then you can put that in your phone number. Yeah. So it works really, really well. It's a great service. The reason that it costs money is it pays money. It costs money for those servers. Look at this. Look at this cumulus field developing.
Severe thunderstorm warning.
We're not far away from development of thunderstorm activity, so we've got to watch this closely.
Yeah, and they're already taking off big time in Northeast Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect there.
Yeah, I'll bring it up here on Mega Doppler.
Yeah.
So there it is, 126 severe thunderstorm warning, and this is just the leading edge of the storm.
Wow.
So that's it. All right. Well, anyways, what time did the storm start? Let me answer this call here.
Yep.
And we'll wrap this up here at 1:30.
Yeah. So once again, we're thinking the main time frame for strong to severe thunderstorms in Northwest Arkansas is going to be between about 5 to 10 o'clock p.m. But we have that time frame of 2 to 10 because there could be storms that fire off beforehand, Taylor. So this is what we're watching right here. We've got that enhanced risk of severe weather in place. All modes of severe weather are going to be possible, including the potential for very large hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes. And in fact, the tornado potential has increased once again over Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. That's the biggest update we've seen that continues to uptrend. We're going to remind you guys one more time that you need to make sure that you've got your tornado safety plan in place just in case severe weather strikes your area. So I'm going to show this little graphic once again. I think this graphic is absolutely fantastic. This is the best places to be in your house. The red shaded areas are spots you do not need to be in. Green shaded areas are the spots that are highly recommended and actually the spots that you should be in. So if you live in a mobile home, forget about it. You do not need to be in a mobile home. You have to go to a different area. You have to find a storm shelter. You need to find your friends or family's houses, and you need to go there. But if you are impacted by a tornado, if a tornado warning is issued for your area, you need to go to the interior room of your house at the lowest level. The best possible place, if you have it, is going to be a basement or a storm shelter below ground. But if you must be above ground, you want to get to that hallway at the center of the house or into a closet. And I always talk about this at my house. Personally, I go to a pantry. That's our most interior room of the house. It's very compact. It's away from outside walls as well. And we're able to cover ourselves with blankets, mattresses, and helmets as well. I think bicycle helmets are fantastic to have. So know a lot of folks talking about mobile homes and things like that. Can I be in a mobile home? You absolutely cannot be in a mobile home. You need to have a plan in place to get out of there if there is a tornado warning that's issued. So I'm going to go through the latest HRRR one more time here, and then we're going to wrap things up because we do need to get ready for that severe weather potential coming up within the next few hours. But this is the latest high-resolution refresh model. You can see here showers and thunderstorms out in Oklahoma developing. Here it goes again, Dan. It wants to mess things up, but the point is there's going to be showers and storms today developing along the cold front. Yeah. But it just develops things too late. We've already got this going on right now over there in northeast Oklahoma. But main time frame is going to be between 5 to 10 o'clock p.m. across our weather coverage area. This will be a quick moving line of showers and storms. Initially, when they develop, I think before 7 o'clock p.m., they're going to have primarily a very large hail threat. We're talking about hailstones over 3 to 4 inches in diameter. Folks, that can cause significant damage to your cars. You do not want to be out and about on the roadways when this is happening. And then as we go throughout the evening, we'll shift more to a strong tornado threat.
Braden Polk, who sent that photo, I want to know exactly where you were located. So if you can message me your address, because I want to be able to know where that was and where that was looking. So I do believe it was Braden Polk, right?
It was Braden Polk. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You're right.
Yeah. Please send me your address in Messenger. You don't have to type it up in the comments, obviously, and also the direction you were looking, which I assume was west. But give me that information. All this is like forensics. We're putting together a crime scene, which was the tornado paths that were in the area. And the fingerprints that the tornado left behind are the trees down, the damage. And so it's us as almost like a police detective to go back, look at the forensics, look at the damage, gather the pictures, because the Weather Service, they may be surveying today, but they're probably going to wait till tomorrow.
Yes, and I wanted to let you have the opportunity to talk about this too, Dan. There might have been another tornado that occurred near the Winslow area. I saw that funnel cloud too.
Yes,
going along Interstate 49.
So this tornado was not a part of the apparent circulation that was moving through Odell.
Evansville and
Odell.
Yeah.
So this was a circulation that developed out ahead of that went straight north. And if you don't look very closely, you wouldn't even think it was a tornado. But it was. It had a little bit of a CC drop, and it went straight north. And this was west of I-49.
Yep.
And it was, I'll tell you the exact area that it was at.
This makes sense. So what we had a visual on was not the original circulation that went through Odell. It was that second one that was developing right over.
And you said it looked like a big cone. It was a cone funnel, but you probably weren't able to see all the way down.
Yes,
it was on the ground. I bet, even though it was a cone funnel, the condensation funnel might not have been reaching the ground.
And it's difficult to see too because of the mountains and stuff like that over the horizon.
Oh my God!
So, yeah, look at that 0 to 3 kilometer Cape, man. 175.
175, 150.
Yeah. And the models were showing this too. They're showing up to 181.
We're in trouble.
We are.
We are in trouble.
Yep. A mesoscale discussion right there. So
strong tornadoes will be possible.
Yeah.
I said tremendous thermodynamics.
Tremendous thermodynamics. That's just like
that's some strong wording.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah.
We read that whole thing.
They don't just they don't say it all.
Well, I think we need to wrap this
We need to
up.
wrap it
Yeah,
up.
we need to get ready
Got
to
a
rock
lot
and
of
roll. We need to
stuff we
reboot
gotta
these
do.
computers. But thank you guys so much for joining in on the weather live stream. Over 3,000 people on here right now. We're going to get ready to rock and roll. We're going to keep you safe. Thank you for trusting your weather authority team, guys. Here we go.
I don't know if we'll get Peyton in here. I don't know
Yeah.
if we'll do another live at 3:00 with the new update. We will post the new update. But when we do these lives, we just continually get bombarded with questions, which is great because I know you need to know a lot of stuff. But the problem is that takes up time for us to get ready for those storms. So,
Yeah, next
and
time
we
we'll
have
be
to get
live
ready.
is probably
when they
When
start.
they start.
When it starts.
When they
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be the next time we're live. But we'll give you information. Have you started that live weather blog by any
I haven't even
chance, Josh?
I was
gotten to
going to.
post.
Peyton's got it.
2
We got
hours.
it. We're going to have all of us
Yes.
ready to go in some form or fashion. We'll talk about the different roles as damage is happening. We'll probably be sending out people. Hey, pray for the area, man.
Yep,
This
absolutely.
could be a rough night,
Absolutely.
a rough evening.
Yeah.
Not night. This won't be overnight. There's
Mhm.
no doubt this will not be overnight. Before midnight, everything will be done.
Yep. And we're praying too that nothing happens here as well, nothing significant. All right, everybody. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Stay weather aware. God bless, and we'll see you for the next update when thunderstorms are moving through Northwest Arkansas. Have a good one.